All right, testing the mic.
I wanted that. Now mute yourself.
Okay.
I just want to make sure we're getting audio from remote.
All right, so we're good?
Should be.
Yeah, we'll see the date, the time, and then
Okay, welcome everybody. This is Bronx Community Board 11, full board meeting, September 27th, 2023. And our starting time is 7:15? 7:14. Welcome everyone. We're going to begin with our Pledge of Allegiance. I turn it over to our Sergeant of Arms.
flag is right there.
Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag and to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Also call a moment of silence.
Well, moment of silence for our fallen first responders and medical and military service personnel, and for those suffering throughout the world. Thank you.
Also,
Our Sergeant of Arms, can you do the code of conduct?
You can sit for that.
All right. Community Board 11 meetings must be held in a professional, hostile-free environment. The following rules of conduct are applicable to all members of the public, Community Board 11, and Community Board 11 staff. Any action or behavior that disrupts or interferes with Community Board 11 business will not be tolerated during any Community Board 11 meeting and may result in the individual or individuals being asked to leave. If the action or behavior continues, this may be considered disturbing the peace and the appropriate authorities may do so. If the meeting is held remotely, the person may be muted or expelled from the meeting. Repeated violations by the same person or group of people may result in further action by a community board. All public speakers must address the full board or the committee with their concerns. Electioneering for a position other than an officer of Community Board 11 is prohibited. Engaging in acts of violence, including threats, are grounds for immediate suspension of the right to attend meetings, pending review by the Ethics and Disciplinary Committee. Respect the quality, diversity, and privacy of all persons by respecting and valuing differences of culture and opinion. Refrain from unpleasant or disparaging remarks and other actions. Abstain from all forms of harassment by actively discouraging and disseminating false information is prohibited. Thank you.
Thank you.
And so we're going to start with gallery. Those who register online first will be called first, and then the in-person slips. So you're going to come up to me, or you're going to come up to our Sergeant at Arms, and you're going to take his mic, and then please go back between, you can stand in the middle if you want. So the first person on the agenda is Kevin Deloya. So just remember, all gallery session speakers, you have 2 minutes, and then after your time is up, so the Sergeant at Arms, when he's ready, will keep time. And he does have a 30-second warning. If you want something other than 30-second warning, you have to tell us in advance. And then once your 2 minutes of uninterrupted speaking time, please do not interrupt until the 2 minutes is over, or they say they're done with the 2 minutes. Then we take 4 questions or statements. The gallery session speakers will respond to 4 statements or questions from board members, not from the public. And yeah, for the newer members, we've obviously forgot to print these off for you, but you will get one of your own name stands. If you lose your name stand, we'll make another one for you as a courtesy, but after that, I'm not making more, because some people, so when you're done with this tonight, please give it to Harriet, Chris, not me, Harriet or Chris, and they'll eventually give it to me or what. Start with them, okay? So when you're ready, that is number 3, okay?
Welcome members, welcome new members. My name is Kevin DeLoyer. We speak about the Fortune Society for some community member college level. Dated 9/27, today's date 22. The subject is public level apology for disabled conduct. Violations of the just one hearing that was not conducted in accordance with the rules of the conduct. That's September 29th, 2023. Community concern. We have the council to go 11, the way to send us some serious apologies for disorderly conduct of the first one of the testimony meeting on September 29th, 2022. The DPW addressed any inconvenience, discomfort, or disruption caused by the behavior exhibited by some individuals present at the hearing, including our hosts, the Philly Medical Center, the Fortune Society, and certain individuals of the community involved in the class action. As a community board, the primary mission is to foster open dialogue, inclusivity, and respect among all residents. Understanding the events that occurred during the West Town Hall of Council, the values that is strive to be better. We are committed to making immediate action to respect and not repeated in the future. While it is recognized that the disorderly conduct is not representative of the broader community views or intentions, full responsibility for maintaining a safe and respectful environment for our public buildings. One, moving forward, we will be implementing strict protocols to ensure that all attendees can express their image of respectful manner. Additionally, we provided increased guidance in the area regarding appropriate behavior and decorum during public hearings. Once again, we sincerely apologize for the distress for the disorderly conduct of the press conference hearing. We hope that you can accept our apologies. Thank you for understanding. This letter is not written by community board.
I'm sorry, did you say this letter was dated when?
It's dated today. It's not from the Community Board 11. Let me repeat that.
Is it on Community Board 11 letterhead?
Not this one.
Got it.
This out loud. So you should certainly find out about that one that's on letterhead if there is one.
So just to remember,
Letterhead came out.
Kevin, just reminder,
I'm asking you about state.
yes, but if you're not speaking to the mic, it's not being recorded.
Oh, okay.
So you might want to speak in the mic.
Please speak into the mic.
Certainly. Hello. That's a good question. I just want to repeat that it is not from the Community Board 11. I dictated that as a letter I thought should have been written. That being said, it's dated today, and it's not from this community board or anybody who was on as a member at the time or any new members now. But you ask about a letterhead. I'm not quite sure we all saw that letterhead or if there is one. Thank you.
It was put on, I took your suggestion, Kevin, because after you made the suggestion, it was needed to get out there. And you said it was not on Community Board 11 letterhead, which was in the process of doing, and I made sure that it was. So it was out there and it was posted on social media and it actually was sent to the full board. So I just want to let you know, I thank you for bringing that to our attention.
Go ahead.
The letterhead that I have is dated July 21st, and the letter that was sent out by the community board staff came out on the 28th. Just want to mention that as far as your letterhead.
Yeah, it's the same letter.
You can
That's-
follow, yeah,
it's
but you
just
can
on
follow
letterhead.
up on the dates and who changed it to a predated letterhead or not. But the one that we got originally publicly from the staff, which was actually your letter forwarded, I believe, with an attachment but no letterhead, was sent to us on the 28th of July. Later, when that letterhead was found to not be on there, the letterhead itself was dated the 21st. You can review that when you get back.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, the letter was written on the 21st and published, and whether it's on letterhead is another story, but
I guess so.
there's other questions or microphone? Okay.
Actually, please just remind me, when this letter was written, I know we agreed that we were going to write a letter, but prior to releasing this letter, I don't recall seeing it and or voting on this letter at all. I'm just
But I will.
making a statement. Yes.
I can't respond on behalf of the board if you've gotten it or
You can
not.
respond up to
But you were
4
supposed-
questions or comments.
But you were supposed to, as a board, review, edit, and have the opportunity to make changes to whatever original draft was created by the board chairperson, Bernadette. If that happened or not, I don't know. I just know that what was sent out was not acceptable to me as an informed resident of the area and one of the complainants who turned from anonymous to wanting to be known. And my complaints were against 2 members up front here, and the third complaint was against the third member.
Can you clarify the members?
I can do that. You're asking me, sure. My specific one, just name 2 people, but I do want you to know if, as I mentioned these 2 names, that it was really, the complaint form asks specifically for names as well as other things that may or may not be relevant to how you might want to respond. So I put 2 names down that I thought were responsible for this. I put down the chairperson for the Housing Committee, Hazel Muir, and I put down Al D'Angelo, who was either acting chairperson at the time or chairperson or whatever title he was at that time, who seemed to be, during the event, managing the process. I feel bad that I actually put Hazel's name on there. I just want to mention that as well. I do want you to know that the other complaint, 102, specifically mentioned Bernadette Ferrara and maybe somebody else. So those were the 3 that I know were in the public complaints, the 2 public complaints.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
All right, so unless there's any other questions, comments, we'll move on to Mr. Robert Press.
Thank you. Welcome back, board members, and welcome new board members.
Hold on, Bob. He's gonna restart the time. Hold on.
Yep. As I said, welcome back, board members, and welcome new board members. At the last leadership meeting last week, several things took place. I want to congratulate the Ethics Committee Chair for her decision to have all members of Community Board 11 take diversity training, which the resolution is before you tonight and should be passed unanimously. I must ask, though, that Sergeant of Arms, why he did not do his job at the leadership meeting when one board member said an improper and disparaging word at the gay community and one that is associated with the Black community. This board member then, 1 minute later, repeated the same 2 words. And again, only then did the district manager call him out of order for saying those 2 words twice, saying it is an open meeting where children may be present. And I want to know why the Sergeant of Arms did not act when the 2 words were said, or is there a double standard on Community Board 11? It is apparent from what the borough president said to me last year as to why I was not appointed to Community Board 11, but her statement of needs says that she wants experienced people in her community boards. By her actions this year, it should be apparent that there is a quota of white members, not only on CB 11, but on other boards by the borough president's appointments and her non-appointments, or non-reappointments, I should say. I've been quiet about this up to this moment, but I will speak out now with what is going on at this board, other boards, and on social media. Thank you. Would you like to reply, Mr. Gray?
I'll reply. First, I really want to say that I thought that overall, well, I don't want to say overall, but a lot of the actions and behaviors at that meeting to be honest, and what things that were said was below standard of a community board. So you and I will agree to that, correct? At that meeting, I wasn't the person who was overseeing that meeting, nor was I the person that was setting the agenda. That goes within the chair and the vice chair of the leadership committee. But I will agree, we do have to hold ourselves to a higher standard, right? And for me, I was shocked when those things were said, but I'm sure that how the board decides as a whole to move forward, that's just how we move forward. But there, I just thought that the entire meeting overall was just below standard.
At other meetings where you interjected yourself as far as things were going, but this meeting you decided not to. Okay, thank you.
This is not really. I really only interject when I'm asked to interject. I never had a disciplinary power in any other meetings. This is my first meeting as official Sergeant of Arms. So I have to push back on that one a little bit, but I can assure you that for me, and I hope from other board members, that we will look to uphold ourselves to a higher standard. Thank you.
Okay. I just want to point out with regards to the Sergeant of Arms, at all of the committee meetings, the chair and the co-chairs are the ones that actually are the ones that are the Sergeant of Arms, that they take care of the order. And at the leadership meeting, Sergeant of Arms is not really supposed to be that's not a job responsibility. If he so wants to, that's great, but it really is not. It's really at the full board meeting. So I just want to point that out. So.
And although the Sergeant of Arms also acts at the parliamentarian, so that includes him at the executive board meeting and the leadership meeting. I could see other committee meetings where where he's not supposed to, but he has interjected at committee meetings. And that's why I question why he didn't at the leadership meeting. Thank you.
Well, I am a member of those other committees, right? But in that stand of being a disciplinary person, that's not my role in those meetings.
Robert, thank you for your time. Can you provide specific feedback or recommendations based on your observations from past committee meetings on how we can do better?
I would suggest that you vote on the issue tonight before you about diversity training, that all members vote yes on it. And like I said, I want to thank again the ethics chair. This is the second time I'm thanking her for actions that she has done. She's proving to be an excellent ethics chair to this point. Thank you.
Okay, Grace Lavaglio or Marrero?
Hello. Hi, everybody. Whoop. Okay. Time. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Boy, did I miss a lot this summer. What the heck is going on today? I mean, for real. Anyway, mine's not so serious. I just want to welcome everybody back. It's good to be back here. As some people may or may not know, the third annual Jazzy J Hip Hop Festival is going to be October 7th on Allerton Avenue. And like I said at the precinct meeting last night, all organizations are welcome to bring a table if you want to, just so people know who you are, because I guarantee you a lot of people on Allerton Avenue don't really know anything about any of the organizations, especially CB11. Not happening. So there's that. So whoever wants to set up a table, just contact me. My number is 347-664-6445. I welcome everyone to come. Now, on just an issue with that I put down for the gallery, they did some work. Apex Contracting did some work in front of my building. on pipes in the street. Now, there's 2 tree beds. There was a tree bed here and a tree bed here. They did work, they did put something in the middle there, okay? First, they piled dirt, they covered the tree beds. And I asked them, I said, are you gonna clean that up? They said, yeah, we're gonna clean it up when we're done. Well, now that they're done, one tree bed has been covered up and the other one has cement in it, and it's a disaster, and that needs to be fixed because we're fixing on planting trees there again. I just did a walkthrough with Parks Department to see how many tree beds we have, and we're fixing to do tree work there, and we need those tree beds back. So I'll send you the pictures, Jeremy. I'm not sure who to call. I didn't call 311. I didn't call Parks, you know, so I'm telling you guys, okay? Thank you.
So yeah, just send me an email ideally. I know you text me sometimes, but it's best if you just send me an email with as much information as possible. That way, because if I forward it to DOT or DEP and they say it's not us, then I can just easily send it right on to the next person. Thank you. Okay, Diana Finch.
Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready. Speaking as a board member of Bronx Park East Community Association, last March, the Parks Department presented the redesign for Zimmerman Playground. Unfortunately, it did not include renovation of the non-functioning restroom building. Councilmember Feliz had budgeted the funds, but Zimmerman was redistricted to Councilmember Riley, whose funding had been fully assigned. The board voted unanimously to approve the design on the grounds that Parks commit to securing funding for the restrooms. As Parks Chair Janice Walcott has long insisted, the restroom building is critical. Without it, many activities such as programming for kids are not permitted. We request the board include the restroom renovation as a top district priority in the community budget priorities, and the full board send a letter to Councilmember Riley stating how critical it is that he fund it now. Speaking as a private citizen, on the inadequate non-apology for the public hearing on Just Home, I will submit the Bronx Times article on the Ethics Committee hearing, my draft apology, from the May full board minutes, motion that a written apology expressing our regrets for the board's public hearing of September 29th, 2022 be sent to the public, unanimously passed. The chair's statement emailed in July before new board members were sworn in contravention of the unanimous vote, it states, many of our board members were in favor of this letter, others were not, and a small percentage felt they should not apologize for something they did not participate in. Many board members were not at the hearing or even on the board then, or when the complaints were heard. But the board is not limited to a specific set of members at one specific time. It's an ongoing body of city government obligated by Section 2801B of the City Charter and Article 11 of CB 11 bylaws to be held to the act or decision of a majority of its members. The chair's statement does not fulfill those obligations. I request that the board correct this.
Okay, thank you. Unless there's any questions or comments, it's really loud. We'll move on to the next gallery session speaker. Also, Chris Chun Chun is online, so if you could mark her as WebEx. Last but not least, Roxanne Delgado.
Hello, to say when I can start. Now, hello, Committee Board 11, evening. I'm here regarding the Hunting Club motion not to object. I'd like to say in Feb 2021, the same matter was brought up with the Hunting Club. And at the time, Chair Joe Thompson put a motion to object to it because of the police precinct notified them that the premise was raided by the state police. And unfortunately, the Committee Board voted not to object to the license despite the fact finding that their premise was raided by the sheriff for gambling or illegal gambling machines. And this is my concern, that this board as a whole treats businesses differently, some with heavy hands, some with light touches. Whether you want to take a heavy hand or light touch is on the board's decision, but you must be consistent and equal when you apply those hands. Regarding this application, Hunting Club, I think you should not waive the requirement because several reasons. There was no questionnaire attached to the agenda for the committee. The questionnaire was not attached for the agenda for tonight's meeting. And for the fact that it's 300 feet away from the school, yes, it doesn't fall under the 200-foot requirement by SLA, but it's still 300 feet from school. It's a residential area. We need to have notification for the public to have their input. So I hope you table this, do not waive the requirement, treat them as you would treat all the other businesses that came before this board. So this is what I like to say, how to improve this board is by, and instead of pointing fingers, who's a bigot, who's not a bigot, have a process, make sure the process is very inclusive, and apply that process to everyone. No favoritism, no retaliation. Take your personal vendettas or your personal feelings outside this board. When you come to the board, be professional and treat others like you like to be treated. Thank you for your time.
All right, Elio, do you mind grabbing me that mic and bringing it back over here? That concludes the gallery. Let me move this down.
Thank you.
Thank you. Malcolm, that's what number is that?
This is 5.
So can everyone, okay, so yeah, just so you know, board members, I'd like to do 1 through ideally 8. I just forgot that 8 should go there. All right. Yeah, because that's how I have the up and down controls, 1 through 8. Yeah, this is for whoever. All right. Yeah, so yeah, chair's report.
Yes, I got it.
Oh, you,
Oh, no, wait.
yeah, we'll keep this one here if that's fine.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I stole it from them. Welcome. Good evening and welcome back, everybody. We want to start September with a clean slate after summer recess. This month of September, we recognize to our Jewish community, Happy Rosh Hashanah, Happy New Year, and Yom Kippur. Hope you had an easy fast. This is also National Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15th to October 15th. Also, this is Italian Heritage Month coming up from October 1st to October 31st. With the Morris Park Community Association Parade Committee organizing the Bronx Columbus Day Parade on Sunday, October 8th, starting at noon, with the carnival afterwards at Laredo Park from 2 to 5. And also September is Suicide Prevention Month. So I'm going into my first list. Everybody knows I'm a list person. Okay, the most important thing right now is to actually do an official introduction of our new 11 Bronx Community Board 11 members. And I really would like them to stand up so everybody could put a face to a name. Okay? I know everybody could tell because they don't have their cards, their title cards. But I want to welcome all of you. Yes, I'm putting you in the hot seat. Yeah. Stay up there while I say your names. I'm sorry, I have my list. Okay? Okay, we have Edgar Aguirre. We have Caden Allen. Is she here? Yep. Ryan Barthel. Stacy Ann DeLeon. Angel Diaz. Mary Elkanem. If I said that wrong, I apologize. Wendy Hewlett. Where is she? Where is she? Okay. Dewan Jones. Okay. Juan Luciano. Edward Perez. Okay. And Suzanne Perez.
I don't know if she's here.
Is she here?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Okay, she's online. So again, I welcome you all. This is your official welcome. Now we have a face to a name. Please mingle and get to know everybody else. Thank you. Okay. Number 2 on my list is Bronx Community Board 11 continues to stay focused on our priority, which is you, our community. As chair, I will continue to maintain the direction of this board with its many concerns that affect all of our neighborhoods. Number 3, one thing that you can bet your last penny on is change. My parents taught me that very early in life. Community Board 11 has been and continues to be diverse, and we strive for equality for all and to include all voices, which leads me to introduce our new non-standing DEI committee. And we look forward to your first meeting on our calendar. So thank you. We get a round of applause. It's a new meeting. Okay. Our committees now have a new checklist and requirements that will bring needed structure. That will be emailed to the full board this week because I did ask for input, and put it on our website for the public. Okay? Bronx Community Board 11 has been working with Assemblyman John Saccaro's office to crack down on the illegal selling of cannabis and other items at our smoke shops. And we thank him for this initiative, and we look forward to the town hall that is being organized, and hopefully will be a date at the beginning of November. So we will let everybody know about that. 2460 Williamsbridge Road. The store name is Hush. It is still in a holding pattern. And next is our bylaws committee will be meeting on October 25th. There are 6 proposed bylaws, new bylaws. We will be hearing 3 of them on October 25th, starting with the one proposed in May, and joining with a similar proposal with an option, and I will state what those 2 are. And if time permits, there's also a third one, and if time permits, we will go on. But we will be hearing 3 proposals in our next October 25th meeting. Okay? And again, if time permits, we will go on. We do not want this meeting to go on till 12 o'clock. Okay? But we do want discussion. And those 3 are, where's my, here they are. Okay. No, sorry. That's not that. Sorry. I had those on a different list. Oh, too many papers. Here we go. Okay. The one that we will be hearing is, and this is stated as a proposal. Committees may elect their own chairperson and co-chairperson at a committee meeting. This was proposed in February 2023, discussed in April 2023 bylaws committee, and was to be brought in the floor in May. Full board meeting still pending. So this will be coming on October 25th. But another bylaws that is similar, that will be, since it's similar in nature, is that there's an additional criteria. Sorry, don't want to read the wrong thing. As that we should allow nominations from committees or the board itself, who they would like to chair of various committees. Then the nominations are sent to the chair to approve. If the chair disagrees, then the chair picks the chair. If the chair who is appointed after 90 days is not right for the fit, should be able to vote on the chair to be removed, and then the request should go to the full board. Again, these will be discussed. And the third one is Third one is with regards to the bylaws committee, that the proposed amendment should be limited to twice a year. And that will be discussed further. So those three will be discussed on October 25th. Okay, and where is my initial? Okay. I want to just have a reminder to all that the full board meetings are to report committee motions that need to have a full board vote. This is not a time for major discussion on all matters. Any need for discussion outside of the motions will be directed back to that specific committee. And also the code of conduct will be strictly enforced. Thank you very much. Sorry.
Veronica, I know Tyrone is here. I don't know if there's anything, I know he has to leave. I don't know if there's anything he has to announce from the 49 precinct.
Before I go.
Hello. Hello, everyone. I'm Officer Medeiros. I'm the Crime Prevention Officer of the 49 Precinct. I have come here to give you a little bit of the statistics for the precinct, what's happening in the command and the community at large. I will go through this as fast as possible. We are up for the year in terms of crime, 24%. The raw number being 364 reported index crimes as compared to 239 this time last year. For the past 28-day period, we are up 21%, the raw number being 182 complaints as compared to 150 this time last year. The major drivers for crime right now are grand larcenies of automobiles and burglaries. We currently took, oh, this is not right. Son of a. Yes, son of a beeswax, thank you. Guess I'm gonna have to go by memory. When it comes to burglaries, for the last 28-day period, we are actually up 287% in burglaries, the raw number being 31 complaints as to 8 complaints this time last year. The burglaries are right now mostly residential, and they're in a specific, they're really all over the place for the most part, but more likely than not, the cluster of burglaries when it comes to residential is in the Allerton Avenue area. Some of those burglaries have been domestic in nature. The rest are currently under investigation. The second category for the increase in burglaries is actually commercial vehicles. Anything with a commercial plate that has a commercial purpose, if someone breaks into the vehicle, it's considered a burglary. When it comes to grand larcenies of automobiles, the categories that we are up in is Hondas, Kias and Hyundais, and along with scooters and Ford Econolines. The Hondas is specifically CRVs and some Accords. More likely than not a CRV. Current year to maybe 2019. They are being targeted by organized crime. And it's hard to prevent that type of crime. I'm not going to get into that. The second category is Kias and Hyundais. There is a security flaw in those vehicles from 2010 to 2021 for anything that's turnkey, anything mechanical, not the key fobs. That security flaw is being exploited by joyriders for the most part. The NYPD has been in a media campaign to notify the public. I'm not doing it. I'm thinking. Okay. To notify the public.
You want to give me the other microphone?
Yeah. Or I can yell. I can. Green. Yeah, that's right. The NYPD has gone on a media blitz trying to get the word out as much as possible about the Kias and Hyundais being targeted for theft. And we've had many initiatives in conjunction with the Police Foundation in order to get make AirTags, GPS devices, and then wheel locks available to the general public. If you want to try and get your hands on one of these things, you have to own a Honda CRV or a Kia or Hyundai that I just mentioned, 2010, 2021, turnkey only. You can go on our media, NYPD, typically NYPD News on Twitter or X, and same thing on Facebook, NYPD, and you'll be able to find when these events are being posted if you want to join and get these events. Thank you very much.
Okay, answers questions. Miguel, you have a question? You have your hand raised? Yes?
You guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I was just wondering if for the bylaws from the chair's report, are those three changes, is that the order that they were received?
So let me correct, it's a little muffled, but I think what you want to know is, are those bylaw proposals that she read the way they were submitted? Is that what you're saying or asking?
In the order that they were submitted.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if that matters, but yeah.
Of the six
The
that
question
are
of-
on, are those the first three?
So you just want to know if they were in the if she read them off in the order that they were received?
The three that are being considered, are those the
Yes.
first three that came in?
Yeah, are those first three that are being considered first? Do those-
Yeah, chronologically, yes, yes.
Yeah, she said yes. Chronologically, that those came in first.
Okay, thank you.
Because I know one of them, she said going back to May.
Yes.
Officer, have arrests been up also in the precinct?
Yes, arrests have been up in the precinct. I don't have the numbers in front of me, unfortunately, but they are up.
I got this one. Yeah. Okay, so since we're beginning the fiscal year 24, it was started in July. The Treasury report is up on the website. It's for July, August, and September. So if you have any questions, you can let me know. We ended fiscal year 23 with a couple of negative numbers in the payroll section of the Treasurer's report. According to the mayor's office, the payroll section, payroll is basically taken to a system. It's not the community board. They don't have any power to move money between those codes. So the system can. So in case there were very small numbers, but that's what the system did. It takes it and then it reconciles it at the end of the fiscal year. So that was automatically done by the payroll system to take money where it needs. Those codes that they were under don't necessarily mean that's what they were for. And again, this is coming from the mayor's office. So if you have any other questions, feel free to let me know. I'm happy to reach out to the mayor's office for any questions you guys may have. Okay, thank you. And welcome to all the new members. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Secretary's report, Hazel?
Hi, everyone. Hi. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. Hi, welcome back. I hope everybody had a great summer. And welcome to all the new members, and especially those that have joined the Housing Committee. I'm the chair of that, so I look forward to working with all of you. The minutes for, wait, let me put my eyes on. The minutes for June were emailed. I hope everybody had a chance to review them. So I'm going to make a motion to accept the minutes of the full board meeting held on Thursday, June 22nd, 2023.
Second by Mel.
second by Malcolm. Thank you, Malcolm. Let me just write that down. Do we have any discussions about the minutes? Anyone here? Anyone online? No? Do we have any objections to the motion? No? Any abstentions? No? Okay, so the motion carries. Thank you very much. No, let's.
So some of you are new, right? And so you may not be familiar with the process, right? A motion is made, it has to be seconded before you can discuss it formally. And then once that's done, you take a vote. So what we learned through the pandemic, when we were fully virtual, it was just easier to figure out who was against the motion or who was abstaining. And then in this case, so if you're not going to object, you're not going to abstain, then you're all in favor. It's unanimous, right? And something else too, I know a lot of people text message me, like, I got a message from a board member, they're not sure they can make it. I was going to respond, send us an email, send Bernadette. So remember, whoever's officially the head of the meeting, in this case, it's Bernadette and staff. If you always CC staff, it's always a good habit. But just send an email, just so it's documented, right? You can call me, you can text me, but my head gets cut off because I'm running around doing a million things, right? Speaking of which, so yeah, I mean, yeah, well, it's just manager's report anyway. So there's a few things. I had a committee chair reaching out to me about some of your contact info. I know not everybody filled out the shared Google spreadsheet, which is available if you want to share your information with your colleagues here, board members. It's not shared with the public. You share it with the public, I will have to restrict your access. And probably change the link too, I guess, somehow. So if you're not comfortable, I know everybody's not comfortable sharing their information, but if you want to get maybe at the very least, get in touch with your committee chair, so they have it that way. Otherwise, just fill out if you're okay with the rest of the board members having your contact info. The idea is, as much as possible, to get the reliance on me off of me, right? Yeah, I mean, yeah, because, yeah, I mean, yeah, I can go on about that. So meeting minutes. So I don't know if you're referring to Bernadette, that checklist I created earlier during your report. So I think it was Joanne Rubino's suggestion. I know Cindy had suggestions a while ago about minutes. I did a checklist. I know Cindy, I also shared it with her. I got to share it with everybody at large. But I know Bernadette liked it. I mean, it's not perfect, right? But the idea is that we get in the habit of what is important for meeting minutes, because if you didn't see that news article I sent out, that city publication, which they focused in on full board meeting minutes, we're definitely way behind on committee meeting minutes. And I just said that to the reporter, but his focus was on full board meeting minutes, and therefore we got kudos for always doing our full board meeting minutes compared to others. I'm not going to say what other community boards, but we were definitely in the top two. So, with that, some of you learned, Bernadette's learned the hard way, right? We all learned the hard way. That's the only way we learn, right? You send me a novel, Harriet used to write 14-page meeting minutes. And so when I first came to this position, 2011, the staff would joke that they could put something regarding an abortion, during the middle of the meeting, and that you guys would vote on it and approve it without even reading it. And so because I said, Harriet, nobody reads 14-page meeting minutes, I approved that point. During my report, like I'm giving now, at the very end of it, I announced that I'm going to retire to the North Pole to help stand with his sleigh. And the board voted on it. One member caught it after the fact. He was upset or whatever. I said, yeah, Joe, I was just proving a point. I wasn't doing it for a joke, as the news article said. I was doing it to prove a point, because after that, Harriet and I sat down. I said, okay, Harriet, we're going to do these together, right? I brought her into my office, and she would read off, a whole paragraph of things. All right, discussion took place. And she's like, you're not going to write all that? Like, no. Did they vote on it? No. Discussion took place. And so that's how we got down from 14-page meeting minutes to 4, right? Because she does the base of it. You know, Hazel looks at it, approves it, and then we send it to you guys and vote on it. So when you send meeting minutes, you know, Bernadette used to get upset with me. Joe McManus used to get upset with me when I would just cut that stuff down, right? Because nobody reads. And I proved it with the North Pole comment, right? So the key things with this checklist that I will send out to you is when the meeting started, who was present for the meeting, who was absent, did you complete the sign-in sheet? You'll get the info, okay? I don't want to bore you with it. And I know I want to say something about bylaws. I just don't remember what. Okay, and then so I feel like there's something else. All right, legal matters. So, you know, the board voted in June. We sent a letter to the DA's office. Still have to send one to the borough president's office. Who knows? Maybe it's not necessary going forward. It all depends upon how things proceed. Right, we have a code of conduct for a reason. You know, when we've had problems in the past, like especially virtual meetings, when the chat got out of hand, we would shut it down. But that's not fair to everybody else because the chat serves a vital function. And yeah, we're always going to have this hybrid option, so long as I can help it, so long as, you know, you agree to it, because it's important. And other legal matters, so I sent out an email with the transcripts from the 3 public hearings. Some of you may not be aware that there were 3 public hearings regarding my EEO complaint against the board. So I sent that out. And related to that, because one reason I refused to settle with the city, despite numerous offers, is I wanted training for all of you, right? And Harriet said it earlier today, if she doesn't mind me putting her on a spot, whatever training we take, so should you. And so a board member said to me yesterday, Jeremy, what would you do in my position? I gave him a few scenarios on what I would do if I was a board member and not a staff member, a paid staff member, right? I'm paid, you're not, you're volunteers. But you know, a little bit of accountability. I know Vanessa's new, so we can't necessarily fault her for the previous administration. I'm talking about the borough president's office. In 2020, they sent out, in 2020, a member of the public filed a complaint, a single complaint against a single board member. The board attempted to make, well, the ethics committee attempted to make that board member do diversity training. It failed. Thereafter, the borough president's office said that they were going to require diversity training of board members. That was 2020. 2021 came along. In 2022, you know, diversity and EEO training, right? Because I have an EEO complaint. I'm still waiting for that. I know the board may vote on this and may not, but if you feel passionate about that, speak to the borough president's office. All right. Again, I know Kiera, Vanessa, they're new to their positions, but they need to hear from you on how serious you take this. It can't just be me or, you know, a lot of people come to me, they complain to me about their, you know, Hazel comes and complains to me, this is hypothetical, complains to me about Bernadette. Talk to Bernadette, don't talk to me, right? So similar to this stuff, you want diversity training? I think it should be mandated for all 59 community boards throughout the city. Talk to them about it. Talk to your city council members. That's all I'm going to say for now.
Thank you.
Committee reports, Al D'Angelo.
Good evening. Welcome to all the new members. You have no idea what you got yourself in for. We have one motion, Community Board 11, to require diversity training for each and every one of its members. It passed unanimously by the Leadership Committee, and we would like to bring it before the board. So the motion is that sensitivity training or diversity training is required for every one of our board members. Is there any discussion on that motion?
We have to do a second.
No seconds are needed on.
I'm sorry, do I have a second?
No seconds are needed on motions that have been approved by a committee. So, no, you're right, Al.
Okay.
So,
any discussion on the motion?
Yeah, Ed? Okay, go ahead.
I just have 2 questions. And this is for the board. This is not for the public. And I know I'm new here and I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers, right? Considering the importance of diversity and it's 2 questions. Okay, so please let me ask both of them. considering the importance of diversity and inclusion in today's society, can someone shed light on why it took the board an extended period to contemplate diversity training? Number two, why did it necessitate a specific incident such as the one involving Mr. Al D'Angelo for the board to consider implementing this training? Shouldn't proactive measures be in place to prevent such incidents? Whoever can answer that.
Most of the members have already taken diversity training. If all the members of the board now have taken it one time or another, right, Jeremy?
So the Borough President's Office requires sexual harassment, anti-sexual harassment training of everybody. Well, I don't know if it's enforced. That's the first thing. It does include things like EEO training, but I can tell you as staff, we also have to take LGBTQ training. We have to take, at some point, they do make you take conflicts of interest board training. I forget what else we have to take here, but I know I have to take like 5 courses. I mean, I understand that can be a lot, but I'll tell you what, you know, everybody complains about training, but every time I take sexual harassment training, I'm reminded of, oh, yeah, well, I shouldn't make a joke like that, you know, like it's helpful in my opinion. It's a good reminder. So Malcolm wants to respond.
Well, I know that, Jeremy, and last year, you and I have spoken previously about diversity training and the importance of it. I wish, to be very honest with you, that, you know, we saw the importance of that then and not after, you know, what occurred with the complaint regarding the Vice Chair, Al D'Angelo, and, you know, us trying to bridge that gap, right? You know, to be honest, like, I'm happy that we made that motion and that, you know, we cannot consider it as a full thing as a board. I would have been more happier if this was something that was a priority and people saw as, you know, as a need for our community and our board before this issue. And, you know, leadership took it upon themselves to make it happen. Is to me, like, you know, I want to say we're moving in the right path, but I do want to see this as something as in, you know, we're not doing this just to pacify, right? The issue, that we're actually doing this to tackle a problem that has occurred on this board for years, right? And that we're also using it as a way to better ourselves so we can understand the different demographics and communities within our own district. So I hope that kind of answers your question. Yes, thank you. You know, but, you know, I think that there's a need here. And, you know, I really want to see, you know, us put teeth to it to ensure that everyone takes this training.
Hi, I know you're new to the board and welcome. Thank you for those questions. I encourage others to ask questions as well. Yes, I did on April 21st at 8:38 a.m. ask that all board members be required to take diversity training twice a year. So I did ask for that. It was decided on the leadership committee that we motioned for it. So that is what occurred to answer your first question. To answer your second question, yes, there should be measures. And you have the power to make a motion and come up with a plan. You're welcome.
Any other question?
Microphone.
Sorry, so just so that I understand what it is that we're voting on the general concept that we are going to, or that we're going to take diversity training, and then we are going to decide at another point, or another committee is going to decide whether we're all taking the same training, who's going to conduct the training, how's that training going to be paid for? Is that what we're doing? We're first going to agree on the fact, and then someone else at some other point is going to determine the details of how that's going to happen?
It'll be able to be done online, so you can be able to do it at home. It'll be coming from, I believe, the Borough President's Office. So it's something that we'll all take. It's something that's standard that they have issued in the past. So it's basically the same.
So, okay, so the details are already filled in. We're just going to agree on whether we are. Oh,
All right, so if you mind, I'll respond. As far as I recall from the leadership committee meeting, the board is going to pay for the training, right, for all of you. In terms of parameters, well, I mean, DCAS offers trainings. Kira sends me training availability for staff, but I don't see any reason why we can't do it for board members. They do it sexual harassment training for board members. I mean, ideally, we don't pay for it, right? The Borough President's office has pledged more than once that they were going to do this, the past 3 years. We want, again, if you want it to happen, just don't wait for this. Reach out to them, right? Or your city council member, right? Because I think this is, I think Ed is on point. I mean, to me, this is a liability issue. I mean, I was having a conversation with a board member earlier today that, but we're volunteers, but you are, right? I'm staff. I work for you officially. And if you're in a managerial supervisory role, how come you don't have to take training? I mean, not all board members are the same, right? Not everybody knows everything that you do or I do. So while you're in your position, I think it's important, right? Because you're officially a public officer of the city of New York.
I'm sorry. So then I have one more question. So then is the next step, if we agree to take this diversity training, then we would have to show proof or a certificate or something to show that we took this?
Yeah, so the staff could administer it. I mean, we've done that in the past. The borough president has, had us do that in the past. I think they've since, don't rely on us anymore. They do it themselves. But yeah, I mean, I think most of the members here can trust me, Harriet, and Chris to collect your certificate and verify that you actually have done the training. And we can send it out to the board. We can publish who's taking the training. Yeah, V. Okay, Miguel, yeah, especially if you're on the side and you see that screen. So are we going to go on Serena first or Miguel first? Which? Okay, so let's go to Miguel. Are you there, Miguel?
To go back to the first question from the new member, a lot of times it's not necessarily a matter of what the board wants. To give you an example, Madam Chair announced that the DEI committee would be is now populated. We voted on that 5 months ago. And so a lot of times there is a sense from the board of what should be done, and it becomes kind of out of our hands because then there's someone else or some other, process that has to be done that just doesn't get done because it is not a priority. Thank you.
So I can comment on that too, but let's go to Serena.
No one, I don't know. Did anybody have a response from Miguel?
I mean, I can respond if anybody wants me to. I mean,
I don't know.
So I think he brings up a really good point, right? We vote on this. So the parameters are somewhat clear, but is this just a test run? We do it once, or are we going to see how it goes, and then maybe we make it consistent, right? I mean, whereas like the DEI committee, it's apples and oranges, right? Because the board voted to resurrect the committee, but it didn't vote on anything else, or didn't set the parameters at all. To me, the parameters for this are really clear. DCAS does the training, right? They do the sexual harassment training.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean,
wait.
So how's DCAS in the training not clear? Go ahead, Cynthia.
The only reason I say it's not clear is because it was just something that was thrown out there at the leadership meeting. We can have DCAS do it. Okay. Now, do you realistically think, given the dynamics that we've been dealing with, that a checkoff PowerPoint that you sit through and you click next, got a certificate, constitutes diversity training? That's just my thought.
Yeah, so I know the DEI committee plans on bringing people to speak about issues. But I'll tell you what, if we do this, if we vote on it, and first of all, we got to see what the figure is, right? We should be able to do it. And to me, it's much more easy and clear cut. And, you know, I will make sure we get the certificates, unlike sexual harassment training, which I know not everybody does.
So,
Anti-sexual harassment training.
So what I wanted to say was exactly what Cynthia just said. In my opinion, I do not believe that our DEI training should be in front of a computer. People can check out all the time. So I believe that we should be all together in person and taking this training. It is imperative that we do so that we all know that we are accountable for the training, and that is the only way that this is going to work. As far as the DEI committee, just because we have a non-standing DEI committee, we cannot just expect the DEI committee to come and do everything that the full board should have been doing for far too long. We are going to bring, you know, new perspectives. We're going to bring a lot of resources and a lot of information. And I say we as part of a committee, a member of the DEI committee, but it should not be relegated and delegated to us alone. We are all responsible for this. And then number three, it is right now a non-standing committee. So how do we get this to be a standing committee?
So I can respond to that too, if necessary. I mean, again, I don't want to be on the hot seat, but so I think some of you know, I testified before the City Council Government Operations Committee about my EEO complaint about requiring this training because of what I personally have gone through, what other staff members have gone through, what other members of the public who applied for my position have gone through. Because you know, it's a liability. Like, why do we take that risk? So it's a great point. Electronic training is not necessarily enough, but we got to start somewhere. And at least if we set the standard, I don't know of any other community board that, I mean, I know some of you are very familiar with Community Board 10, Community Board 7. Do you know if any of these other community boards are doing this?
I can tell you that I can't speak about other community boards, but I can talk to you about someone that is in equity, that just does this for a living every day. And I am telling you that there's policy and there's parameters and there are things that we need to institute. And just starting here, this is where we start. And it cannot be done behind a computer screen, especially after the last couple of months that we have had. It cannot be done this way.
Why not both? Or why don't we shoot for both?
No, because right now we're hybrid, right? And some people like it, and I get it. I totally get it. The comfort, the thing, and sometimes that works, but not for something like this.
But I'm saying, why don't we have in-person training in addition to online training?
Because you can pick and choose if you want to.
No, why don't we require both?
You're saying both, so that we'll have a mandated, mandatory in-person training, plus in addition to virtual?
I mean, that's if you go for it. I mean, I'm not a board member. I mean, Malcolm had his hand up. I don't know if anybody else online. We'll go to Malcolm.
Yeah, because, you know, considering the last few months, weeks at too, you know, it's, you know, this needs teeth to it. Right? Like, I'm glad we got the DEI committee, but like it took a lot of pushback in the back to even get the DEI committee appointed, right? And it wasn't even appointed in the way that other committees would have been appointed, right? So even that kind of gave to me a sense of, you know, other, right? But I certainly support the in-person and the online training, you know, but I definitely want to see an investment in our board saying that this is important and you know, and just how we have to move forward going into the future.
Sorry, Oscar. So that's all right. That's all right. Did somebody over here, Averill, what is that, 7? Go ahead.
Naomi also has.
Yeah, so don't leave it on. If the green button turns red, then we'll change the batteries.
Okay, Jeremy. I'm even lost as to what I want to say. My name is Avril Francis. As you can see, I'm very I can't even say the word. You all got me going crazy over here with the trainings, the amount of training we're going to get at home or coming in person. We are volunteering. Our time are limited. And if I have to come to all these training, I might as well just, I don't know, feel like giving up because we are drained. Diversity, I am. So if we're not, we need to get it together. Because I think it starts with us as grown folks, that we have to go through all this training to learn how to be this and how to be that. It starts at home, like we tell ourselves about children. So let's get it together. We're either going to do it online or in person, but give us a choice. Because maybe it's more convenient for me to do it at home. I did sexual harassment training online. I had to sit on the computer and do it, and I learned from it. So no one can justify the fact that doing it in person is better than doing it online. I just want to know what this is all about, and as long as I do it and I apply what is said to be done, it can work, but just give us option. It's too much. It's a volunteer position, but we can't be going through all these trainings and coming to meetings because it's going to discourage people. That's my word on that.
Thank you, Ava.
Oh, Naomi, what, Mike? What number? 2? Okay.
So I just, I was going to say something else, but I would like to just address that statement that you made, Avril. I think that, yes, we have all types of educational training through our jobs, through the board, through life. And yes, education does begin at home, but a lot of our education is outside of our home. And sometimes we have to make sure that the proper education and such education as this is important. This is important to me. It's important to the community and needs to happen because we have lost the community focus. And that's why this is important and should not be shuffled and it's too much work and it's this and this and that. That's just my opinion because you know what? It's important, period. I'm not looking for, I'm still speaking. I'm still speaking. I don't think that we should make this difficult in thought. I think we need to focus on the motion and then we can, as a team, as a board, think about the options that we can vote on. So that's what I wanted to say instead of us keep going and going. Thank you.
Discussion.
I think Malcolm, did you, or Serena?
I just wanted to just, yep, all of that. But as far as this being volunteer, I get it. This is volunteer for everyone. But when I decided I was going to join this community board, I took it just as serious as if I was getting paid for doing the same work that I was doing 9 to 5. And when I sit here until almost 12 o'clock at night, you know, I'm taking it just as serious as that. So for me, you can, I'm sorry to say it like that, you can miss me with the whole volunteer thing because this for me is not that.
Any other discussion? Anyone else?
So Miguel and Mary next. Miguel, and then Mary. Yeah. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that obviously an in-person and virtual would be probably overly burdensome. But I do think that, like everyone has said, considering the actions of several board members over the last few months, I think it would be very, very helpful for it to be in person, number one. I understand being diversity as the only gay person on the board. I know I don't need to learn about that, but I know that I would be happy to go to the training so that if there were any questions, I could bring my breadth of experience to that, to that training. Thank you.
I think it's on, yeah. Hi, my name is Mary. I do not have a name tag because I'm new. One of the things that Jeremy has emphasized that I wanted to bring up is this issue of liability and how important it is for us to think about as we move forward. We should not be ticking boxes simply because there's a liability behind our actions or choices of words or how we may proceed with certain things, but we should be making intentional choices. In addition to that, also recognizing that we all have very different lived experiences than one another. We grew up in different generations. We grew up in different neighborhoods. We grew up with different experiences, and recognizing that each of our experiences is diverse, but my diverse experience does not constitute the diverse experiences of other Middle Eastern women. It will not constitute that of maybe somebody on a different block. It will not, it doesn't, understanding that diversity training is essential for everybody because we all have different perspectives, different lived experiences. All of those experiences are valid. And diversity training is essential, especially if we want to move forward as a unified board so that we have one single understanding of appropriate conduct and what is not appropriate conduct so that we can move forward with hopefully more positive interactions with one another.
Well said. Thank you.
Al?
Any other discussion?
So just so it doesn't drop, Al, depending on how this goes, if it gets approved, maybe the DI committee can work on the parameters so it doesn't, fall to the wayside. Like I will get a quote from DCAS, right? Even though not everybody's in favor of the online training. And, Serena, you have somebody that could maybe do in-person training. Let's see if they're a registered vendor with the city. So maybe, does that sound feasible? Okay.
Anyone against the motion?
Debbie Kowalik?
You're against the motion. One person.
One person.
Anyone abstaining?
Anybody online too? You can vote.
Okay.
We do have a quorum in person. If not, say so now.
The motion carries. 1 nay, no extensions. Thank you.
Veronica, Economic Development.
Sorry, I have one quick question. What's the budget for that cost?
What's that?
What's the budget for that cost?
What would it cost? I have to explore that.
Okay, do you think that maybe we can find out how much is that cost first?
We could, but I think does the board want to reject the motion that was already passed?
Jeremy,
No.
can I speak?
Go ahead, V.
The motion's already passed, and I think it's fine that we leave it pass. We can explore whether it's going to, how much it's going to cost, whether the board will pay for it, or whether we can see if the Bronx Borough President will pay for the training. That's something, right now, we just wanted to vote on whether or not we agree that the training is needed. So everything else we can hash out later on.
Okay, all right.
All right. Sound good? All right. So on that note, Economic Development.
Okay, thank you, everyone. First, I wanted to thank all the new board members that were assigned to the committee that showed up because we had a full attendance there, so that was great. We have 3 motions today. 2 of them are for renewals, and for the interest of time, I'd like to put those together as one motion unless somebody has an objection to that. Okay, so I like, the motion is, if the police department has no objections, community sends an email of no objection to the New York State regarding the renewal liquor license application for El Nuevo Sazon, 2233 Boston Road, for wine, beer, and cider, and for Mama G African Kitchen 2 Corp., located at 1322A East Gun Hill Road, also for wine, beer, and cider. 49 Precinct has confirmed that they have no issues with either of the locations. Is there any discussion? Oh, we seconded in committee, so we don't need it.
I'm sorry. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. I didn't check my email recently. We got the police reports back on those.
Yes, and as Officer Maderos was sitting here with me, I double checked with him and he looked into the system and he did not see anything for either of the locations.
Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, any objections? Any abstentions? Okay, motion passes unanimously. The third location, well, the third motion was for a waive of the 30-day advance notice. So the motion is that if the police department has no objections, Community Board 11 send an email of no objection to the New York State Liquor Authority regarding one, the new liquor license application for the hunting club located at 2503 Williamsbridge Road for wine, beer, cider, and liquor. And two, the establishment's request to waive for the 30-day advance notice requirement. So again, while Officer Maderos was sitting here, I had him check. There have been no issues since 2021. Also, the person who is applying for the liquor license is a new person. They're not the same person that we had issues with in the past. This is a new owner. They've been fixing it up and they had some issues with the Department of Buildings. They're here now, so that's why I'm looking at them in case I state anything incorrectly. They had issues with getting a letter of no objection from the building department. They got the letter of no objection, so they're able to move forward, which is why they're requesting a waiver of the 30-day notice because it's been okay. And it was held back due to COVID and other issues. So now that they've been able to finally get the letter of no objection from the building department, they've asked us to waive the 30-day notice. 49 Precinct, again, I spoke to Tyrone. He has no issues with this location. We try and give new applicants a fair chance. They are not, again, I state, not the same owners for the issues that we've had in the past with the hunting club. We know that we have been hard on the hunting club for the reason of there've been issues that keep coming up, but these are not the same owners. We would like to give them a chance. So is there any discussion?
So go ahead, microphone, Rich, and then Bernadette.
Just to clarify, what does the 30-day advance notice requirement do or not do? I'm not familiar with that.
And Chris, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the 30-day notice they have to give to the community board to state that they're going to be applying for a liquor license. And then after that, we can have them come in and do not an investigation, but to, interview them to see what they have planned.
So state law requires liquor on-premise consumption. That's not like a bodega where you buy a case of beer and you walk out. You can drink it actually on-premise. There are two different types of license for that. They have to notify the municipality, and in the case of New York City, the local community board, of their intent to apply, renew, change the corporation title or whatever. I forget, there's like 4 different types of licenses. They have to notify us 30 days in advance. So say they're up for renewal in October 1st. And they send the notice today, the state liquor authority will slap them with a fine, right? They will defer to the community board though if we decide to waive it. If we don't feel like there's any issues, there's any concerns. I know that somebody did bring up about the sheriff's office versus the police. I don't know if that's been hashed out or if that matters, but does that answer your question, Rich?
No, I mean, yeah, and then why are we waiving it? Like, I mean, I don't get the why waive it in this instance?
They're asking us to waive it because, like I said, they had issues getting the letter of no objection from the Department of Buildings due to COVID and other restrictions. So now that they've been working on this for a while. Now that they finally have been able to obtain that letter of no objection from the Department of Buildings, they're asking that we help to expedite them so they could get their liquor license.
Okay, and as far as I know, the previous establishment lost their license. Burnett, and then Tiz.
This is just a question that probably should have been asked in meeting, and I apologize. But was the previous issues due to the location of the actual place? So it has nothing to do with the owners? So I'm just not clear on, what the NYPD, so what the previous issue was. Was it had to do just with the location?
No, it had to do, the issues that happened in the location, but it wasn't because of the location. It was the activity that the owner was allowing in that location.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. That clear.
Tiz? Tiz and then Wendy?
This establishment has the same name as the previous one, and it's a social club, correct? So it's the same type of establishment as the previous one. Have they been open since? How long have they been open with this new owner?
Actually, I forgot you did tell me, but how long have you been the owner of the establishment?
No, just tell us.
Just tell us and I'll repeat it.
She'll repeat it.
Okay. Okay, so they've only been the owner since 2022. She stated that they've been working to get the paperwork together. Their objective is to fix whatever was wrong with the place before. So they are trying to make, it's a members only club, and they did provide us with the members list, which is required to be shown in the establishment. Should anybody come in, they have to have a members list. So they gave us a copy of the members list at the meeting. They provided us with the questionnaire. So, and that's all done. The questionnaire has or the application has some personal identifiable information that we don't release to the public because for their own privacy, but they did give us the questionnaire.
Yeah, we could redact that, but did you ever answer the question why they kept the name, or did you ever figure that out?
I mean, to me, it just seems like it's the same establishment.
She said the name was existing already and they just thought to keep it consistent, they would just keep the name.
So same name,
members are the same.
type of establishment. Yeah, I remember all the problems that they had in that area with that hunting club.
So do I. I live not very far from there, so I do remember the issues. But she said some of the members are still the same. Probably the majority of the members are still the same. So to not confuse them with the membership, they decided to keep the.
Wendy had a question?
Same members too? Yeah. Okay, thank you.
I did. So I guess I get that they're not the same owners, but the affiliation, right? So you just said some of the same members will be a part of that. That would be an issue, right? Because if you have, there's a relationship somehow, somewhere. Who's to say that it's not going to happen? Whatever happened, whatever problems occurred at that given time, who's to say that those problems won't occur now?
Well, no one can say that it's not going to happen,
Right.
but the owner is the person responsible for making sure that the activities that took place in that establishment before under the other ownership don't happen again. So we can't, in my own opinion, and this is my own opinion, we can't restrict them for something that happened when it wasn't under their control.
It's not restricting, but it's asking the necessary questions. So affiliation is one. How did you know of this business? How did you know that the business was going to be for sale? Is there some affiliation? Do you know the previous owner? Because if it's a members only, it's within the community.
So Veronica, was that handled in committee?
Yeah, so he himself is a previous member. He decided to take over the establishment because they wanted to bring it back into business and to make it better than it was before.
Okay.
Malcolm?
So,
Janice? What, Mike?
I got an answer,
All right.
thank you.
I understand everything. I just don't get why we're waiving the 30-day notice. That's just my personal opinion. And I'm also voting no for this, just FYI.
I'll just tell you that if I didn't say it earlier, when somebody fails to provide 30-day notice, they get a fine. It's like, I think it's like, it might be small the first time, but it could be up to 500. I don't know if Chris, if you remember or what it might be, but that's just basically what it comes down to, is a fine.
What's the?
It's probably $500 for the fine.
Is that the worst case scenario if we don't waive this thing? Is a $500 fine?
They'd have to wait. They'd have to wait 30 days before they can apply for the application, which would extend their wait on being able to start the business. And the $500 month penalty.
That is less.
All right. Miguel has his hand up, and then Serena. Miguel?
Yeah, I just I wanted a little clarification. What exactly is the relationship between the old and new owners? The affiliation?
They're not related. The new owner was a member of the club under the old owner, but they're not related. They're not familial. He was just a member who's trying to take it over.
Thank you.
And I'm just curious, how long has it been since your initial ask? Has it been like a week? Because if we're talking about 30 days, did you even move forward with the motion to put in, to move forward for your license? Or like right now, I mean, is it like 2 weeks left if they would have done it 30 days ago, like 2 weeks ago? Do you know what I mean? Like, are we really talking 30 days or are we really talking 2 weeks?
So hold on, we can go to the agenda on the website. If you want me to do that right now, I could do that. No, so it's hyperlinked, right? Because we put these up because of the state open meetings law requirement that we publish things 24 hours in advance. No, so let's look at their application when it's dated, their notice form. Let me just pull it up. So it's dated September 7th. We received it September 14th. I don't know if it's done by certified mail. Chris, do you remember? Oh yeah, it was done via certified mail. So they probably have from September 7th. So October 7th is when they'd be able to file without incurring a fine. Malcolm?
So considering everything, I think this is an opportunity to build a bridge, right? If this business in the past has had issues, right, from a previous owner, I think that this is the opportunity for us to build a bridge with a new owner and get them better enthralled within our community. It's also a better way for us to provide a little bit of oversight in the issues on, what's going on. Because, small businesses, especially in our area, they're hurting, right? And personally, last thing I want to see is another small business going under, right? Primarily because of us. I would hate that. $500 is a major loss of profit, as Ed just said. I think we can build a bridge here and, get ourselves more acclimated with them and to seeing how they operate, then rather than just saying no.
Just for the record, this establishment isn't going to be opened and no one's going to be checking on it like they do with other establishments. The NYPD will routinely be checking on the establishments to make sure that it's operating in accordance to the law.
Okay, one last thing. Sorry, one last thing. So in essence, we don't really know what's happening in there. I'm just saying. So we're voting on yes to approve a liquor license and we just don't know what's happening in this social club.
It's not really open yet.
No, I know it's not open yet, but it's gonna be the same as the one that was previous with a new owner.
Well, was that handled in committee? Was it asked what exactly they're going to be doing?
They're not going to have food. People are going to be bringing in their own food. There's a place for them to get together, to hang out, to talk. When they'll have drinks, but they'll only be able to, 21 or older, they're only going to be serving 2. They will not be serving underage. They also said that it's just basically somewhere for the community members, again, members only, to be able to come in and just hang out and spend time together.
How much is the membership?
That we did not ask.
Mm-hmm. So say I go, say you break it down by quarter and I only, quarterly, how do you break it down? What's the maximum? So it starts at 100 and the max membership, is that monthly, weekly? Monthly. So in essence, if we're looking at it's $100, so it's like $1,200. Let's say round it off, like $1,200 a month for a membership. So since we're talking, what exactly? So I understand. So there won't be food sold, right? You just bring your own food. You need a liquor license to serve liquor. You will be charging for liquor, yes? No?
Yeah, Chris, go ahead.
But wait, I'm still speaking with her. So before Chris, before you interrupt me, like, let me just finish having the conversation, right?
What?
I think this is what happens a lot of times. I mean, I'm speaking with this young woman and I'd like to hear from her and.
It's a social club, in a social club.
I get it,
They're
Chris, but
supposedly-
I'm
but
speaking
hold
with
on.
this young, no, you hold up. I'm speaking with this young lady and
But
you
it's
have a
irrelevant.
tendency of.
We don't have to repeat your answers.
Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, if we want to bring the applicant before us and speak, ideally, this should all be done in committee. Look, if we don't approve this, so the motion is to, no recommendation. If we don't do that, they can still get the license, and there's a good chance they will. Yes, but, yeah, of course. Yeah, go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have committees. The reason we have committees is to do the vetting of the different organizations. What's happening is we're doing their job. You know, Veronica's committee did their job. They vetted the people and they made a recommendation. We can ask questions, but what we're doing now is we're giving the people a third degree. Now, we do have to give credit to the committee heads. When the committee does a job, we assume we vetted the people that they were dealing with. And what we're doing now is we're doing their job for them. Then join the Economic Development Committee.
All right, I'm going to be done with this, but I did ask a very direct question. How much is the membership? And that question, the committee couldn't answer me. Number one. Number two, living in this district, there was a particular business, and I don't even know if I'm even at liberty to say the name of the business, but there were several different businesses by this one particular name, and it wasn't a social club. It was a hair salon, and there were like 5 of them, and they were always closed. And I always wondered, how do we have a very nice, beautiful hair salon, lights, neon lights, the whole bit, and they're always closed? So I'm asking, I've never been a member of a social club. I don't know what happens. I did attend the committee. I know that the food, so I was just asking questions, and I cannot be faulted for asking the questions. And that's all.
I'm gonna.
Record.
Go ahead.
Just for the record, for the membership fees, that has no bearance on our decision on whether or not we're going to waive the 30 days for the SLA. That has no bearance on it. That's why we did not ask it. There are certain things that we ask that do fall under our purview for the committee, but membership fees, we felt, does not fall into that purview. So that's why we didn't have that information.
I'll be quick. Again, I think for the sake of transparency, it's okay to ask these questions.
All right. If you're not part of the board, please do not say anything.
And I would like to know why we can't ask those questions. What if she can't that day? I have the right because it's Hold on, let me finish. The motion was to discuss. In discussion, you discuss. If that motion didn't pass, we wouldn't discuss. So per Robert's rules, no, wasn't the motion to discuss?
Keep going, Rich, keep going.
And I'm done. I'm just asking, when you motion to discuss, you get to discuss. If you have a time limit on the discussion, that's it. Agreed. But the motion was to discuss, we're discussing, that's it. That's all I'm saying.
So I think this comes down to, if you don't think the committee did its job, I mean, no offense to you, Veronica, or the committee, I mean, or if you feel like not enough questions are answered, then just don't vote, then vote against the motion. Right. Like, are we ready to vote or no?
But someone has to stop the discussion, though.
Yeah, well, if you agree to stop, we vote. That's what happens. So any other comments, Bernadette? Miguel?
I just wanted to say, having been a bar owner, back
Louder, please, to the mic, your mic.
It's, I just wanted to say, as a former liquor license holder, I know how incredibly difficult it is to go through that process. So I applaud anybody that does go through it. And I think it's important to remember that they're really only asking for a waiver for 10 days. You know, if it was at the last minute or something to that effect, but they put this request in 20 days ago by my count. So I think that giving them credit for that should also be a thing. Thanks.
So more discussion, or can we go to a vote? Okay, and maybe we should do a roll call vote, because it seems like it's going to be contentious enough. So I will go through the general membership, starting with the leadership or the executive board, because that's how I always do it. And if you're a member of the executive board and you don't want to set the lead, because I know that's my issue, just say, come back to me and we'll come back around. Anybody, if you're not comfortable voting whatever order, just say, come back to me. Bernadette Ferrara.
Yes.
Al D'Angelo. Veronica Castro. Hazel Mira. Malcolm Gray. Edgar Aguirre. Yeah, what? Sorry. Katie and Allen. Ryan, I'm not sure how I pronounce your last name, but Ryan. Is he? Oh, yeah, Ryan, you. Junior's out. Chun Chun.
Yes.
Okay. Oops. Is Christine online? No. Okay. Stacey Ann? Angel? Miguel?
Yes.
Mary? April? Is Rabbi even online? I don't think so. Ken? Ken's online, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Wendy? D1? Debbie? Juan? Roger? Serena? Phyllis? Phyllis there? Phyllis? You're on mute?
Sorry, no.
Naomi? Edward? Shrado? Key? No, sorry. Is Juanita online?
I'm here. Yes.
Rich? Cynthia? Joanne? Harry? I don't think Oral's there. Is Lisa Oral? Joe Thompson?
Abstain. Oral.
Oral, okay. Lisa? Mark? Oral, if he's not already marked, please, Chris. Okay, thank you. Lisa? Joe Thompson, is he still here? Sandy, is she online? I think no, she's supposed to be excused. If you can mark her excused, Chris. Janice? And Dwayne. So motion carries. I don't have to give you the exact total now. It's pretty clear, right? Majority yeses. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, V.
So I know that not everyone can attend every committee meeting, but on the agenda, the upcoming applications are on there. If you have questions and are not able to attend the meeting, feel free to send me an email and copy the staff on it, and I will ask your questions at the meeting to the locations. We are allowed to have a discussion here, but we can minimize the amount of questions if we're able to ask as many questions as possible in the committee. So if that would help, I'm happy to do that.
I just want to point out, we do have a lot of committees, but if you're not able to get to that committee and not everybody is able to get to the committees, you can Google Bronx Community Board 11 YouTube channel, or if you go on to the website under minutes, there's a link right there and you can view it. So a lot of those. What?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yes. Oh.
So just for clarity purpose, right? Full board meetings are the time where we, as full board members, we ask questions, right? Because it's all about transparency. Just like I asked about the question about affiliation, I have the right to ask those questions. I don't have to come to your committee meetings, but as a full board member, I have the right to ask those questions, and it needs to be answered. So for the gentleman to say, we don't have the right to ask questions or whatever the comment was, I have the right. As a member, I have the right. I have the right to ask any question when it's full board, okay? Thank you.
Do you want
I don't have to go to your committee meeting.
So I agree. My suggestion was that if you have questions, you can just to try and lower it, because these meetings can go long, but maybe you don't know the question you're going to ask before the thing. So yes, we do have the right to have a discussion.
I'm sorry. I'm going to clarify what I had said in the chair report is the full board meetings, the discussions and the questions and the meat of the sandwich are done in the committees. So that's what the committees are for, so that you go back and forth. You could stay there for as long as you want. You could have a million questions. If you can't get to that committee, you can view and at least get an option about what happened and what the back and forth was and why the motions were made. So the committee is for the major discussion. The full board is to have the motion. A motion does have the part that does the discussion, but not to this extent. That's my point. It's done in the committee, and that's something that is structured and needs to be remembered. So everybody has an opportunity to vote, and if you are not satisfied with everything, you vote against it. So this is not the time to have an hour hour discussion. It is to have a discussion on a motion, but it is limited. Major discussion is in the committees. That's why we have them, videotaped and for everybody to watch. And so I just please get used to that. Doesn't mean that you can't ask the question, but we're not going to be here an hour. Okay. So just want to clarify that.
I disagree, but that's besides the point. My point is, if we're going to have discussion, the way you can do it, per Robert's Rules of Order, I have a motion. I motion to discuss. The time limit on that motion is for 5 minutes of discussion. Everyone agrees, 5 minutes of that discussion. That way you have parameters around the discussion. You can't say, no, guys, let's not discuss. You could say, let's discuss for 5 minutes max, and at the 5 minute mark, it dies. And then you have to vote. So that's a suggestion for the future.
So
that way
is
we're
that a
not,
suggestion or is that a motion you're making?
No. That's just a suggestion. We can work on it next month. That's all.
All right. Well, all right. It's a good idea. 5 minutes.
I like the 5 minutes.
Yep. All right. Well, anybody can make a motion. Anybody can second. We can discuss it some more.
Let's not.
All right. Malcolm?
No.
No. Okay. Move. So we can move on?
Yes.
I mean, I keep hearing that's a great idea, but I don't hear anybody making a motion to vote on it. All right, fine.
Can we do that going forward?
The leadership. No, yeah, make motion.
All right, please. I like to make the motion to limit our discussion on motions to just 20 minutes. Sorry, my fault. Let's do 15 minutes. 10? Want to do 10? All right, 10 minutes. But five's not enough. 5's not enough.
It's in the full board.
That'll be fine. 10 minutes is okay.
I second
So,
that.
no, restate the motion, please.
Yeah. I make a motion to limit discussion on motions to 10 minutes.
I second.
Thank you.
Okay, so second by Hazel. So motion by Malcolm, second by Hazel. Open for discussion. And, huh? Please what? Okay, so we're voting now then, right? Okay. Anybody against or abstaining?
Do we have discussion on the motion?
Yeah, go ahead, Ken. Yeah, you want to discuss? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we can actually limit any motions, any motions in general. We might be able to limit any particular motion, but not any motions in general. That might require a change in the bylaws.
No, they're limiting
The bylaws for more than one motion.
It's total discussion, not per person.
So we're talking about limiting discussion on a motion, not the motion itself.
Right, Ken, discussion, Ken.
Brian has a question.
I understand that, and that might be for any particular motion, but you can't make, in other words, that might be, each one of those motions might have, you can vote a limit on it, but I don't think you can vote to limit the entire, on every motion as a general rule. You'd have to do it on every individual motion unless we change the bylaw to that effect.
What? Okay. Well, that's not. Here.
I would just make a suggestion that we bring it before leadership so we can have a discussion there and not burden the people that are sitting here any longer. And this way we can talk about it, think about it before we meet it with leadership and then come up with something that would be viable for everyone.
Okay.
Okay, so the motion stands. It's not being withdrawn, so that requires a vote from the board to limit discussion on anytime we have a motion of the full board we're talking about, the discussion will be limited to 10 minutes and then abruptly cut off thereafter, right? Per motion. So that was a motion by Malcolm, seconded by Hazel. Discussion, any more discussion? Veronica?
Can we leave it open that if it's a really important matter that we can extend to 10 minutes by vote of the board? Because there may be some matters that 10 minutes would not suffice.
Yeah, it's just that we test it out, right? The board can decide to extend the time period, just like we've done with the gallery. We limit it to 4 questions and comments. You want to extend it, we've done that. Yeah, you can vote to do that. So any other discussion? Okay. Anybody against?
I'm against it.
Okay, so 3 against, Ken, Serena, Cynthia. Okay, 3 against. Any other against or abstaining? Anyone abstaining? If not, the motion carries. Okay, thank you. So Parks and Recreation, we're done with Economic Development. Parks and Recreation, Janice, microphone.
Okay. Good evening, new members. Get used to this, okay? We try to get out of here before 10 o'clock, all right? All right, but we've been back and forth on the issue of Zimmerman Playground, and we're trying to ensure that this playground gets a male-female bathroom. We haven't had one in over 8 years, and we cannot have any programs in and around that park. So I've been trying with parks for years, having meetings with them for years. The new parks commissioner of the city, I've been meeting with her for over 7 years, and nothing has happened. So we met with the new commissioner in August, and what we're trying to do is ensure that when this park gets renovated, it gets renovated with a male-female bathroom, okay? My main concern is that the funding from elected officials come through, especially for that park house. It's a park house, but it's full of asbestos, lead, and water leaks. So it has to be refurbished. And that is supposed to cost more than the entire renovation of the playground. So this is where we stand. And I'm trying to make sure before that entire park is renovated, that park house is done in completion. Now, Loretto Park had a new bathroom completed, and it was trashed. Within a month or so, it was re-renovated. So why can't we get enough funding from the elected officials to ensure that Zimmerman Playgrounds Park House gets renovated also? Thank you.
Janice?
You got my attention.
Yeah, look.
Also,
Hello?
make sure it's
All right.
ADA accessible.
All right, so there was a motion vote on committee, your committee, Janice, right? Did everybody clearly hear the motion? I didn't hear it, but if you all heard it, that's good for me. All right, everybody hear it? Good? No, okay. So Janice, you got to repeat the motion you made in committee.
Okay. We made a motion that while the park is being renovated, the park house has to be renovated also.
And Janice, make sure it's ADA accessible also.
And ADA accessible also, okay?
Well, Oral, since you're an architect that works for the city, don't they have to do that? Aren't they required to do that?
Yeah, but you really have to push them. Make sure it's in, you let them know because, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So there's a motion is made in committee. It's open for discussion. Any discussion?
All right, wait,
Here.
there you go. Oh, no, I started the time.
Oh, yeah. All right. Time, 10 minutes. Too long, but yeah, come on. Anybody? Cynthia?
I just needed clarification. So is it that nothing happens in the playground unless it includes the bathroom? Okay.
Okay, listen, we've been without bathrooms for 8 years. If I didn't raise hell with the commissioner, the old commissioner of the Bronx, for porta potties, we wouldn't have anything there except mothers taking their children between two cars, okay? All right, thank you.
Yeah, Janice, what she's referring to is that Janice reached out to me to get porta potties because I think it started last year, the year before, because she has a block party every year in that area. And so they didn't get us the porta potties until after her event that year, but they've still been there. I knew the Parks Department thought they would get taken away because they'd be trashed or whatever. Maybe they have been, but they're still there, which is nice. But that aside, so to clarify your question, because I wasn't exactly on the microphone, the motion is that is the request of the community board, or the request from the Parks Committee is that the community board requests that the current plan for Eastchester Playground is stalled unless they also do the bathrooms.
Zimmerman.
I'm sorry, I'm confused. Zimmerman. I'm really tired. I've been losing sleep lately. But yeah, so that's correct. Zimmerman Playground, the playground is not renovated unless the bathrooms are renovated at the same time. That's the motion by the Parks Committee. Yeah, Park House, whatever you want to call that. So
And
no,
made
we've already made a
ADA
committee.
accessible.
And
And made
yeah, so
ADA
we'll push the 88th part, but any other discussion?
Yeah, I have something.
Okay, Malcolm.
So I understand the motion. I'm not too sure, like, if it will do anything, can it be something that we can work together to do a budget request for that bathroom in that park and then vote it as a top priority for us in our budget, in our budget request? Maybe that's something that will garner more support from our elected officials. And get us, somewhere closer, because it's saying stall it. Like, I do think the kids need a park, right? That park does need renovations, but I don't think us saying no until you give us a bathroom is the right path. I think that we can utilize the budget request to do so.
I mean, there's a great chance the Parks Department is not going to, that they're going to continue. I mean, there is a chance that they would stall it, which the project will become more expensive over time because of the way the Parks Department works. Bernadette knows very well Van Ness Park.
I'll just give just a quick, when we were getting funding for Van Ness Park, we got 1.3 million. And of course, we requested a bathroom, but the bathroom itself cost over $1 million. Even though the plumbing is there, because I know in the early years where Van Ness Park, there was a parking house and there was one bathroom. So the plumbing is already there. But even besides that, it was going to cost another $1 million, approximately, more or less, So right now we don't have a bathroom there, and the community just, I'm just saying, we made a decision to have since it was a small park, to actually do it without that, because we didn't want to wait another 10 years for another $1 million. So I can understand the need for it, and Zimmerman Park is a larger park, so I would go for it and definitely put it in the budget priorities.
No, I'm just.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to say something, use the mic.
No, forget about it.
All right. For what's worse, Van Ness Park, my kids like it. Yeah.
I just want to say that, I mean, Janice has been talking until she can't talk anymore, and so has the surrounding community, and Parks is just not listening to us. I think that, we do need to put it in for a budget, in a budget priority, but we have to really stand up to them, because right now they're just being bullies to us. And what? No. So, but we just really have to stand up to the parks, because it's a big playground. It's utilized by a lot of the kids, especially the kids from the coops. And it's really a shame that they don't have a working bathroom.
I think the current last estimate we got from the Parks Department was $9 million. So, I mean, we should push our elected officials for this. I know Janice has been, right? She reached out to me about contact info for Richie's office, but they can't, basically, my understanding is the congressional money would get tied up, and it would not make it realistic. So, but even state is a process too, but I think it's not as bad. So maybe Joe can talk about that during his report. So any other discussion? So the motion is that the playground part is stalled until they also do the bathroom simultaneously. And yeah, ADA accessible. So unless there's any discussion, vote. Anybody against or abstaining on the motion? So Malcolm abstains. Serena and Cynthia abstain, so that's 3 Wendy, Mary, so that's 5 abstentions.
I'm abstaining.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's 6 abstentions. Miguel? Any other members? No? If not, motion carries. Okay. Wendy, Mary, Miguel, Serena, so it's 6 total. Yeah. So Malcolm, Cynthia, Serena. Yeah. All right. We have it on the tape, so we can go back to the tape. So, okay. So they'll handle in committee. All right. So before we go to that committee, Serena, we did forget, I don't know if it was just me or we actually discussed this at leadership. There was an application before the transportation committee that was voted upon, a street co-naming application. It was approved in committee. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chris or Debbie, whoever's on the transportation committee, right? That was Adem Selajwe for Kinsella Street. So that was approved in committee. Remember, that's why we do this at leadership, make sure we don't forget something, as well as Zimmerman. I know Janice couldn't be there. But if you see it, say it sooner. So the motion was to, motion of no objection for Adem Salajwe on Kinsella Street. Any discussion that was voted on committee, any discussion regarding this street co-naming application? If not, what's that?
Aye, it's Rabbi. It was approved.
Okay. All right, Rabbi. So Rabbi's here. Any discussion? Not voting? Anybody against or abstaining? So Malcolm's abstaining, one abstention. Wendy? Okay, abstaining. So these are abstentions, right? Not against. Angel, Serena, so that's 4 abstentions. Averill, 5. Cynthia, 6. Any other abstentions? Stacey Ann, who's that? Miguel?
C.
Who? So, yeah, if that was Miguel, then Stacey Ann. It's getting close. I mean, I still think it's a majority yes then in that case, all right? So motion carries. You got all the names, Harriet?
No, I'm missing one. Yes, I'm Malcolm, Wendy, Angel, Serena, Cynthia, Miguel, Stacey Ann.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
There we go.
How many you got, Hazel?
I got 7.
So that's, I think,
Serena.
just Hazel, read them off again. Make sure you got them.
Malcolm, Wendy, Angel, Serena, Cynthia. Oh, that's what I missed. Okay.
All right, so we got all 8. Okay? All right. Unless there's any, I know October, Metro North is going to come. That's Monday. That's Monday. All right. Next week, we're starting all over again. There's no break, at least for me. Community Development, Serena. Is it 2? What number? Is it on?
Yes, yes. Okay. Good evening, everybody. So I am going to just follow me here. I'm going to try to make this quick and painless. So every year, New York City's 59 community boards advocate for the needs of residents and stakeholders in their respective communities. This is what we're doing now. In September, the community development and budgetary priorities, and I'm just giving like a quick overview to everybody that doesn't know. Welcome new members, by the way, and those that are in, the Community Development Committee. We host every year a public hearing. And I will first and foremost say that we could do better. I could do better as a chair. I will admit, because, the chair, we can do better at disseminating this information, letting the community know about this information, right? Because even though I have talked about this ad nauseum at every, and if you go back, and yes, Bernadette, I did watch that committee meeting that I watch all of them, even if I'm not there. So some of those questions came because we were having a conversation. But anyway, that being said, I do mention it at every board, and I have mentioned it at every board, full board meeting. So here we are, right? We're at the time for budget submission. So Malcolm, right? You mentioned you wanted, and Ms. Wilcox, like forget it. You are already on this right here, like first, front and center. But what I want to convey, and I don't think this is, and I could be wrong, but this is like my second time for some of you that do not know, in this position, presenting the community needs, asks, and requests, right? As a community, we need to determine, and as a board, we need to determine what our top 3 priorities are for our district. That's first and foremost. So when we're talking about parks and we're talking about bathrooms, if that is not our number 1 priority, all the subsequent asks have to come either second or third, right? So as a district, we are allotted, everyone, anyway, all 59, community boards, 40 capital asks, infrastructure, things of that nature, and 25 expense as programming and things of that nature. So we have 10 community, 10 committees, right? And if I did it like, if, correct me, Jeremy, if I'm wrong, right? Excluding leadership and full board, but I believe we have 10 committees with now the addition of DEI. So if we're splitting that into the 40 capital asks and the 25 expense asks, we need at the very least one request, a capital request and an expense request from every committee, period, right? Now I sent an email early August to Jeremy so that he can share this with the full board. And then I sent a follow-up email in September, again, requesting that all committees submit their asks. We had our public hearing so that we could hear from everyone, the committees, the board, and the community, because our deadline is October 31st. I'm sorry, I'm trying to make this as quick as possible, but I'm trying to give you as much information as possible. So what we need to determine is, and I'm going to share, New York City as a whole determined, as a whole, all 59 community boards determined that their number one pressing issues were affordable housing was one, followed by crime and public safety, 2, and parks and open spaces. We understand that the Bronx has the largest park grounds, greenery, right? Our top priorities for last year, FY24, were schools, parks, and I say 24 because, you know, we're like, obviously, like right now, we're talking about 25, fiscal year 25, schools, parks, and transit. So I don't know how long it was, but we only had 2 top priorities. So right now, what I want to determine as a full board, you have been given, because I sent emails and I'm happy to send it again, various links to different resources that you can, you know, kind of do your research yourself to determine what we deem priority, right? Do we deem schools, parks, and transit, or are we looking to make schools number 1? Are we thinking about housing number 2 and parks number 3? Once we determine the order, then we can determine how we are going to submit our budgetary asks. Clear? So that's where we are now.
So, yeah, I mean, you want to talk or no? Okay. Go ahead. Anything else, Serena, or you? I'm sorry? You want, go ahead.
So what I want to know is I want to hear from the board. What do we think? And you know, what do we think our priorities are? I have, you know, the budget request has been on our website since it was released in June. I spoke about that. When the preliminary budget came out in January, I mentioned and I said, everybody look at it. And then in June, the final budget came out. I said, everybody look at it. So I don't know if anyone took the time to do that, but right now, this is where, you know, where we have to make decisions that will affect our community. And so based off of what we determined to be our number 1 priority, based off of what we've heard from our community, right? We hear all the time. We hear about parks. You know, Ms. Delgado is a big, you know, supporter of the parks, and she's always out there. We hear about the dog runs. We hear about, you know, transit. We hear about crime and safety. We hear about it all. So we just need to determine what our top 3 priorities, because I cannot determine that on my own. I'm just the chair of this committee. We're a collective. We need to determine that. Once we determine that, then I can go ahead and I can read off all of the asks that were submitted to me, and then we can approve it, and then we can submit the budget and hope and, you know, that the agencies, that the mayor, you know, and the agencies deem us, I don't know, I'm at a loss for words, but they will grant us certain fundings to do a bathroom, right? And Ms. Walcott, I think separate and apart, I think if we all like maybe health and social services, maybe education and culture and youth, us, if we kind of rallied together and did that, and we went to our electeds outside of just putting this in the budget, and we really rallied together for that bathroom, who knows? Maybe we need to have a rally. I don't know. But, we are here to make this bathroom happen. It just doesn't. So anyway, so that's what I'm asking.
So, so suggestion, why not ask everybody to email you their top three? And then you can take it, you could basically make that decision from there. Would that work?
So I love that, Bernadette, sorry. I love that. I did that August 11th. And then I also did that September 13th. No, wait, please just let me finish. So everybody, please, at Bernadette's suggestion, please, I was trying to do this before because our deadline is October 31st. So please just submit one per committee, not per person. So please submit to your committee chair what you think, and I will forward to Jeremy certain links. Right? We have links like profile.planning.nyc.gov. We also have capitalplanning.nyc.gov. You can also go to the CB11 YouTube, right? And go visit, what was that? November 2022, where the Department of City Planning came through and they gave a big, a very nice overview of what it is that we're doing. And you can do the research there. And then if you can just submit to your chair what you think your priorities are, and then they can give it to me. Remember, it's one capital, one expense. And the reason why I'm saying that is because if we have 10 committees, that's already taking 30 capital asks. And we have to consider the community ask, and we have to consider the agency asks, like the New York Public Library and things of that nature. So that's why I'm saying that. So I think that will work. Rich, I'm sorry.
No, Wendy had her. I saw Wendy, Malcolm, Edgar, then Rich. Sorry, Rich, I didn't see you if you had it up, but I saw Wendy first.
So just for clarity, this is the participatory, is this the participatory budget? No,
No.
This is something totally different.
Complete.
Okay, so I guess one suggestion that I would have, because this is what we did in the past, where we would discuss it within committees, right, before ending session, right? So if we know every year this is going to come up during the summer, when we're not in session, I would say start the conversation in April, making sure that it's discussed within committee, so that by June or May's meeting, you have an answer from each and every committee.
And that's exactly what we were doing the entire year. At every meeting, it was like, please, we created the survey was already, we did it all. And it was just, and I have to say, and I know everybody was here, everybody heard it, just kind of prompting people like, please, please look at the budget, please submit your ask, and even conveying to people that you don't have to wait for the public hearing. You can submit your ask throughout the whole entire year, not just the committees, but the public, the whole thing. So yes, but I think we're getting better. We're going to get better, and we're going to streamline it.
But what I'm saying is the chair should be charged with that, right? So you have a chair in your committee. So one of the to-do task, right, before you would start the meeting is saying that, as a committee, we need to do this and just take care of it. Because my second question would be, what committee didn't you hear from?
I didn't hear from anybody outside of Bernadette, right? Bernadette submitted her asks. Ms. Wilcox submitted her asks. And that is, and Ms. Pemberton submitted her ask, but that was, her, but, just her.
Right, so that's not a committee.
That's it. And this has been a constant reminder. And this is why I have to say, I sent, and I have to track emails, and unfortunately is not to be petty, but is to be very clear, because I have been extremely clear from since last year, so But we're gonna get to that place where all committee chairs will be able to, we'll do that.
So as the vice chair, the co-chair of that committee, I could co-sign. Like, Serena been putting in that work, and she's been asking all year to get this stuff done. I think that it was the 2-month break was an extreme loss, as in the sense that our priorities were not straight, and that should have been time that we should have been planning and prioritizing these things. So I think I would love to make a motion.
What's that?
Going forward for the bylaws. I want to make a motion to add that every chair must come up with at least one budget request item before, let's say, at the end of the session in June.
And expense.
And expense. So to ensure that this gets done on time and that our chairs are actually doing the work that they need to be doing.
I second. Sorry, I'm excited.
Ready, Jeremy?
So, hold on. Edgar had his hand up, but the motion's been made. Related to that, or?
I was just hoping to ask for this information to just be resent because I believe new members don't know anything about this. So just be given a bit more time to think about this because 1/5 of the voting population doesn't know about this information. So maybe a bit more time would be nice.
So really quick, I think this is to your point, and I think this is really why we really need to all be able to communicate with each other and not just, I know Jeremy is very respectful of the fact that, well, if you don't want to give your email, you don't have to give your email. If you don't want to give your telephone number, you don't have to do that. And I respect that and I get it. But I cannot communicate with the board entirely just like that because not everybody has given all their emails. So I have to send it to Jeremy and say, Jeremy, please send this to the full board and kind of just rely on that. So we will send it again, but already at this point, and today I sent another email. So it was August 11th, it was September 13th, and September 27th. I have done my due diligence.
Yeah.
Quick, do you need things by the 30th of October? No?
Deadline
Yeah.
is the 31st of October,
Okay.
right?
So I have a quick, I want you to also have a motion I'm going to give you a motion. Every committee chair must submit their top budget priority at their October subcommittee meeting.
2 weeks before deadline. That's what I would like to request. Because we have to input this.
Okay.
We have to input this, ourselves, and it has to be very detailed. And if you guys just also in general, if there's an ask, this is for the board members and the community. If there's an ask and you have support, if you heard that your electeds are going to support you, right? Like Riley, like with in the zone and all of that, that has to go into. It's also, I want this bathroom or I want this pavement. Addresses are needed. We need to be very specific with our asks because if it's vague, they're not going to consider it that way. So we have to be very intentional with what we're asking. And when I'm saying at the very least 2 weeks before, it is because keep in mind that we have 40 capital requests and 25 requests that we have to, narrate and we have to write and we have to make it as important as we want it to be so that, we can stand the chance.
So I want to add to Malcolm's motion. So the motion is every committee chair must submit their top budget priority item by October 11th.
Say mid-October, right? Say October 15th.
No, I think they looked at the calendar.
11?
They looked at the calendar.
This year by the 11th.
So that's the motion. The motion is every committee chair must submit their top budget priority by October 11th, 2023. That's the motion. I mean, that's the idea.
This one?
I just wanted to say this year, if you want to do it by that date, fine. But leadership has, all the committee heads go to leadership, the leadership committee.
Right.
I think it's
I know.
incumbent on us at a leadership meeting before, when you want to know, you let us know by that date on that leadership. When we have that leadership committee meeting, all the chairs will then give you what you need on that specific day.
In a perfect world, ideally, that would work, right? But initially, our public hearing was going to be at the end of September, and we moved it up so that at the very least, right, when I read off these requests and the board approves these requests, we could move forward because there's a lot. It's so cumbersome. My goodness, it really truly is. So if we wait until, what is that, October?
Oh, no, I'm not talking about this year.
Oh, you're
This year.
talking about
I'm
next year?
the future.
Oh,
Because-
yes. Yeah.
Because we have to keep in mind that, with the upzoning going on,
Yes.
you mentioned education is going to be very important to this community. It's something that
Yes.
people should be aware of.
Yes, I'm with it. Next year, I know that we're getting better at it, right? Because we're learning. Everybody is kind of learning things that they didn't know. We're really learning things, I think, collectively. And so we don't even have to wait till September. By the end of June, right? We could all know with this motion that was just put forth, if we, move forward with it, then we can all know we can move forward. I just want us all to be very active and very present with, the ask, because quite frankly, this is really important.
At leadership, I'm sorry, because it started annoying me. Serena has been asking every single month at leadership for these requests. She's asked every full board meeting for these requests. She asks at every community development budget priorities committee meeting for these requests. It just has not been a priority for this board to react to it. Right? So at some point, it's coming to where we have to be forceful in getting these requests, because if we don't get these requests in, it only hurts the community at the end of the day.
So, yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Okay, so I understand it's important for the request. I submitted my request. I'm sorry, but I didn't even know my committee was supposed to be giving it to me. So I would like to suggest something along with what you're saying. Instead of making the chair accountable, is there any way we can use technology in terms of putting a Google form, Google Meet, whatever, I don't know, whatever form like we do with certain things, and having the members of the board submit their top priorities?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Did you time it? So it's been past 10 minutes. You made a motion, buddy, and Serena seconded it. Yes, we were. But well, hold on.
Oh my God.
We need to come up with a plan. I'm asking for extension.
Motion to extend for 5 minutes?
Yes.
Okay, can you time it though? 5 minutes?
Anyone second?
Well,
Second.
no, it was already seconded by Serena.
Okay.
But hold on, but you were modifying the motion, right? Because originally the motion was to June or something, or you didn't set a date. And now we're looking at maybe your next committee meeting.
I'm sorry.
What was your motion again, Malcolm? Can you restate it?
I gotta go.
Sorry. The motion was to require that every standing committee chair submits a budget priority request item by June. And expense along with ensuring, repeat your part, please.
Every committee chair must submit their top budget priority by October 11th, 2023.
Every committee chair submits their top priority budget request items by October 11th, 2023.
So you're modifying the motion to include.
Yes.
Your suggestion, Serena seconded it, right? Yeah.
I asked for a modification to, instead of making the chair the accountable party, that the member is the accountable party, and we have all those members fill out a form, a technical form, using technology.
There are 44 members on this board. That's like 44 different requests for us to look at. If we're able to do it by the committee and by committee priorities, then it saves us a lot more time and effort.
Her committee's or his committee's results?
Whatever. I mean,
But just help us, give us the tools so that we can get the information. That's all I'm asking.
I don't know why it's not rocket science, right? So you have a committee, right? And so and I said this before, that's why I asked about the participatory budget, because that's a deadline and that's standard every single year, right? So what I'm saying is we know that this is going to come up, right? Your ask is a yearly ask, right? So what I'm saying is it should be discussed in committee starting, February, if it takes you that long to make a decision. February, so that by May 31st, before Memorial Day, it's turned in to the chair of the community board. That's it. It's not rocket science. So just do it. It's in committee. You have your group members. You're discussing the topic. It's part of your agenda. You get your answer, and then the vice chair or the chair of that committee turns it over to your district manager or whoever's there attending your committee meeting, and it hits your chair of the community board, and that's it. You're done. You're done. Fucking not rocket science. God damn, you need an hour to discuss the shit? So I second.
Making my own, you don't have to go with.
I love you, but I'm not gonna go with.
So I think we got, we're gonna move forward with this, right? Malcolm, put forward a motion, right? And I think this is great. It's a great idea. It's everything that we all collectively have spoken about, everything that I've been screaming about ad nauseum for the whole entire year. So here we are. Now we're gonna put, we're gonna make it final. We're gonna put, the ink will dry, right, with this motion. So by January, Malcolm, you can repeat your motion. I just do need to read off these requests that we've gotten from community board members and community members so that they are approved so that we can submit them in this fiscal year 25's budget. So are we good? Can I move forward? Yeah, I think I second Malcolm's motion. Tiz, hi Tiz.
Hi, I've been trying to get your guys' attention. The October 11th date isn't going to work for everybody because some committees don't meet until after that date.
Right. But in truth, this is something this is not just Tiz, like this is something that's not new. This is something that has been.
I'm not saying it is new, but now you're asking from each committee.
Right.
Public safety doesn't meet until later on in the month. And honestly, I'm going to be out of the country until October 11th. So there's no way I'm getting anything on public safety. Education, you already know we have the PS 89 extension.
Right. That I already have. Had I not attended that meeting, I wouldn't have known that. Because I didn't get a formal email telling me that this was a formal request. So the PS 89 annex is already here. So what I am saying is that we all have to be accountable. So we know that the 31st is the deadline. You can send us when you can, send it to us. I mean, we're putting forward a motion, but it also has to be according to what we deem the priority. When I get all the chairs, what everyone deems priority, then we will email everyone and we'll let everyone know what that priority is, whether 1, 2, and 3. And based off of that, then we'll know what order we're going to submit our budget in. Huh? Let's vote. Okay.
Right. I just want you to know, though, the reason I didn't submit anything is because you were in the meeting and you said you would put it in. So I didn't think there was a need to actually submit it.
Yeah. Okay. So just what Malcolm is saying is because somebody told me, reminded me that we lose 3 more members, the meeting's basically over because we lose our quorum. So I don't know who else has to leave next. If anybody has to leave next, let us know. Go ahead. So let's take a vote, right? So you,
I'm not gonna go into detail, so just give me a second.
so October 1st is the deadline we're shooting for the chair, or if you're going, the co-chair, right? Somebody? Yeah, sorry, my mic was, I'm trying to do too many things. October 11th is the first deadline for chairs or in their stead, a co-chair to submit their top budget priority request to Serena and Malcolm, the Community Development Committee. All right, and then June of every year, or next year at least. Okay, anybody against? Abstentions? Unanimous? All right, it's unanimous. Okay, vote carries. Anything next thing, Serena?
I just have to, just for good measure, I just have to say the New York Public Library submitted their asks. Ms. Bobby Mitchell submitted her ask for, a dog park on the other side of Pelham Parkway. I'll get into specifics in the, district need report and the budgetary priorities. Ms. Roxanne Delgado, Friends of Pelham Parkway, she requested park enforcement patrol. She also requested park maintenance. Ms. Judy Desiree, she heads the Bronx Park East Farmers Market. She would like a compost drop off, and she would also like educational materials provided. Ms. Janet Wilcox, the bathroom and the park over at Zimmerman. Right? I mean, not the park, the bathroom over at Zimmerman. What else do we have? PS 89, they requested help for an annex that they would like to have added to their school. Ms. Diana Finch also submitted an update to a specific park. Hold on. Trash cans. She requests trash cans, and it's Bronx Park East and Waring Avenue, not Pelham Parkway. The agency is Park Development or Park Department. I'm just trying to be as quick as possible, but clearly, I have everything here verbatim, word for word. Bernadette, I'm going to read your submission, but Bernadette requested, she sent in 13 requests, but realistically, all 13 may not go into the budget. You just have to pick the top priorities, right? So we have a community center, Boys and Girls Club. We have PS 41, retrofit and electrical upgrade for a gymnasium. We have return of Van Ness Library. We have renovation of Van Ness Park Extension, provide more youth and summer programs in Van Ness Park, Matthew and Molinaire Park, and more pest control for rat infestations in the park, more health inspectors to investigate rat infestation, graffiti removal in the corridors, and I believe, and then Ms. Naomi Pemberton did submit a request. Just bear with me really quickly here. This is all just to have it, the Eastchester Garden Community Center, and they did actually receive funding, the Eastchester Garden Community Center. So, so that doesn't have to go on the budget. I believe it was $3.5 million, something along those lines. And so thank you, everybody. I apologize.
Because my committee, a lot of the committee members on my committee are on other committees. So is that double counting, or you don't care? So a lot of my committee members are on other committees. So if each chair is taking information from each committee, is that person voting twice, 3 times? Is that okay? You don't care? Then fine, because I'm.
You're talking about the previous motion?
Yes, about the
Still.
previous motion.
Yeah, if you're a chair of a committee, you submit on behalf of your committee. That's it. Whether you say so, Veronica's chair of economic development, she submits that. I don't think she's chair of anything else at this moment, or she's
But she's not
co-chair.
chair, but she's on other committees. That's what
No,
I'm
but
trying
they
to
just want the
understand.
chair or co-chair to respond. Is that off?
Right.
So I get that.
Is that off?
Ultimately, it's the committees. You know, we're gonna do it like that.
The co-chair, the chair is making the decision.
Well, no, the committee is going to deliver, the co-chair, the chair, the co-chair, and the committee members will all decide what their top priorities are, you know, a capital and expense, and they're gonna decide and come to an agreement, and they're gonna send that to us. And that's what it's gonna be.
Okay.
So the question Malcolm had was about the request from the library and whatnot. What are we going to do with that? Are we going to vote on that? You want to do it in committee on?
Well, we're gonna vote on this. Everything that I just read off, we're gonna vote on, like, do you want to approve it? Do you want to move it forward for budget submission?
I think it's
We
like-
did last year. This is how we did it. So I'm just going through the motions.
Yeah, so New York Public Library and whatnot, whoever submitted a request, you know, is anybody opposed to any of those?
No.
You know, so who has their hand up online?
Oh,
Tiz?
sorry. I forgot to take it down. Sorry.
So unless anybody's voting against these requests, it's unanimous, right?
Yeah.
Against or abstentions?
Fine.
So, yeah. All right, motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
So the motion is to support the request from the New York Public Library. I think Ms. Delgado had a request for parks enforcement or an expense request. Yeah, whoever submitted a request. So even if you didn't listen to it, you're probably going to vote for it just to get out of here, right?
I can't.
Spades-
Can you be a
spades,
little more
sorry.
honest?
So motion by Serena, second by Malcolm. All right, so Education Committee, Tiz. That's a typo on the agenda if you're looking at the agenda. But we do have a deadline for the Yankee Award. I forget what it was.
Hi.
do need to-
We had, in our education committee meeting, we had the assistant principal of PS 89, and she told us how much they are in desperate need of an annex or an extension on their building. So Serena was in that meeting with us, and she offered to put it into the budget priorities section. Next month, the committee will be discussing the Yankee Leadership Award. So if anybody wants to join in, we will not have a guest speaker, and Malcolm will be heading that meeting. That's it.
Tiz, I just want to add something that I noticed that it's in the Bronx Times Reporter, et cetera, that we should actually put an ad when we have our Yankee Leadership Awards. So I just want to add that just as a reminder to remind us to do that.
Have we done that in the past? I don't remember seeing that.
No, I've seen it for other community boards. I've not seen it for Community Board 11.
Okay.
No, an ad in the Bronx Times. No, I have not.
They might do it for free. I mean, we can reach out to the Bronx Times.
Yeah.
So,
Malcolm, is that okay with you?
yeah, we'll explore it.
Free is good.
Okay.
All right, so ethics and disciplinary, Naomi.
Hi, good evening. So this past week, all the weeks are coming together now for me. This past week, we, leadership, we discussed cases 110 and 112. As far as the Ethics Committee is concerned, these cases are closed. If you'd like to know what those cases are, you can go into YouTube, CB11 YouTube. Cases 109 and 113, which is David Leavitt and Miguel Dyer, and 113 is Roxanne Delgado versus Malcolm Gray and Christine Culpepper. Case 113 is pending right now because I'm reviewing the open meetings law. So just wanted to let everyone know. And that is my report. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Who's the coach? Joanne Rubino, Health and Social Services Committee? Microphone? Microphone?
I don't have, oh, I'm sorry.
So, all right.
Cynthia, thank you.
Whoever, yeah. Yeah.
So the Health and Social Services Committee had Dr. Dana Sidney from the Jacoby Pride Center do a presentation on the Pride Center. There was discussion about trying to increase collaboration, spread the word with some of the other organizations that serve the LGBTQIA community. We have been throwing around the idea of doing something for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Details still TBD. And I believe the chair is looking into having somebody come and speak next month for at-risk youth. That's all I can think of right now.
Housing, we had a meeting and we have an agenda. It wasn't posted. I don't understand why, because we got it in on time, but it's not always our fault. We do send it downtown and we're at the mercy of whoever puts it on our page. So we do have, we came up with guest speakers for the next couple of meetings, and we are going to hopefully have a fire safety meeting at Eastchester Gardens either next month or in November. Did I forget anything? Okay, thank you.
Okay, land use, public safety, sanitation, anything you need to announce? I know land use didn't have a meeting. Public safety, is that Tiz now?
Yeah, we had Sheriff Miranda was our guest, and he told us about the raids on Allerton Avenue and also on White Plains Road, and how they came about. And we have to thank Assemblyman Zaccaro for being instrumental in that. And just keep filing 311 reports. Contact the office of the sheriff anytime you suspect any illegal marijuana activity at any of these stores. The more 311 reports they get, the faster they can come out and take care of it. That's it. Thank you.
Can I say something?
Also, just to add on to what Phil said, is there is a link on the OCM website to actually submit that in addition to the 311. There is a link. If anybody needs that, we can send it out. But there's a link to do a direct, to submit exactly what you saw, where, et cetera. So in addition. So thank you.
Ken said there's nothing to report on the land use in the text message to me. Okay.
So, oh crap, sorry. So land use is, where a lot of our zoning things go through, right? We have the city of Yes coming up. We got to take a vote on that in a few months. We don't have to, so like, shouldn't land use be the committee that's pretty much leading the charge for the city of Yes and getting us educated as to what's going on and also alerting the community that this is happening? Yeah, sure.
Ken, did you hear that? Ken Gelnick?
Repeat what he said. I didn't
What's
hear
that,
what he
Ken?
said. I didn't hear what he said.
So that's a citywide, is that a text amendment? So there's a citywide text amendment. It's called the City of Yes. I think it's an environmental text amendment, isn't it? Environmentally related? Yeah, so I don't know if you got a chance to dig into that, Ken, if you can. If you want to have a meeting, or Hazel, are you having a meeting about it? Maybe you want to have a joint meeting.
Okay.
All right. All right. April left? No, maybe so. Yes. Roger, sanitation.
Yeah, so April and I were talking about it, to make a motion for the bylaws to combine the standing committees of sanitation, environmental protection, and transportation.
Okay, so you want to say that again? What's the motion?
So since it's in the bylaws, the standing committees of sanitation, environmental protection, and also transportation as separate standing committees, only the bylaws committee, I believe, can combine the two of them. Because it would be a change to our bylaws as far as.
So you're making a bylaw amendment proposal?
No, making a request that the bylaws put that on their agenda to combine them.
Okay. So, yeah.
Yeah, I
well-
believe when you have the minutes of this meeting, it's in writing.
Wait. So this is transportation and sanitation.
Yeah. And that's talking
So,
at least 2 years.
So, yeah, so there's a motion that on the agenda of the bylaws committee, that they explore combining the committees, which has been done already, but do it again.
Pretty much,
So there's a motion. Do we have a second? Malcolm, do you seconded it? So discussion, Hazel.
Okay. This is the first I'm hearing about this, I think. Well, you haven't been asking me because this is the first time I'm hearing about this regarding transportation. Okay. Okay, but that year I just got on this committee. You know what? I don't remember, but can we table this? Because I need to speak to the rabbi about this. I don't have a problem with it, but I don't know anything about it. So let me just meet up with my chair.
Well, so the motion is just to put it on the agenda to discuss it for bylaws. It's not to.
Can I just make a suggestion? A suggestion is, anytime you want, there's never a problem to do a joint committee. All you have to do is the two chairs speak to each other. You have to have a communication, talk to each other and say, let's do it for next month. It doesn't have to be, every month unless it's. Okay. So talk to each other and say, and I'd like to have this. What do you think? And I know, I understand that, but you have an option. Committees have an option. So you can say for the next month, that's what we could do. So you can say it and just say for October, November, or if you guys have a joint.
So I guess for me, this is why it's important to have an agenda per committee, right? So you can physically see it. Because when we say, is it in writing, like the gentleman said, yes, it's in writing because it came out of his committee and it's within his minutes. So if we have minutes within the full board, then it's already in writing, so you're just voting on it. So just a word to the wise, in the tomorrow, like maybe next month, we start to have minutes per committee, within our agenda, so we physically know what we're looking at.
We do have minutes.
To Wendy's point, I think I agree with Wendy, and I can give an example of several bylaws amendments, several times that I have asked that we have a bylaws meeting this month. The requests went unanswered. Right now, we have a committee of 2 on bylaws, and who's on bylaws? Oh, so no one's been notified that Ken Gelnick is now. It just happened. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of that with the bylaws committee. And I submitted several proposals, and I think they're strong, good proposals. They were not discussed or even brought up today. And Wendy, you're absolutely right, because I've been asking for a bylaws meeting since maybe May, So yeah, thank you.
All right, yes, okay, so a motion's been made by Roger, second by Malcolm. Somebody has to table it. They're not withdrawing the motion, right? Yeah, all right, so the motion is that on the agenda for the bylaws committee meeting on the 25th, that they discuss combining the 2 committees. Okay, so it's already been seconded. It's open for discussion still. Malcolm's timing it. Unless there's any other discussion, let's vote. Okay, so anybody against the motion? So the motion is to put on the agenda of the bylaws committee on the 25th of October to the issue of considering combining the Transportation Committee with the Sanitation and Environmental Protection Committee, just those two committees. All right, so that's the motion. Anybody against it? Anybody abstaining? To put it on the agenda to discuss it, that's it. No? Motion carries. All right.
Here we go.
Anything else, Roger? Or can we go to the elected officials? Oh, no, DEI, Christine is the chair. Who's the co-chair? Cynthia, go ahead.
We're going to meet for the first time.
Oh, yes, we have our first meeting October 17th. One of the first things that we would like to coordinate is a trip with some of our CBOs or civic associations to visit the Allerton Coop exhibit. So if that's something you'd like to join us in, I think it would be a great team building chance and a little bit of history and a little bit of diversity. And that's it for now, I think. Anything else? Yep. Thank you.
Just for context, the Allerton Coop is our only landmark in our National Historic Landmark in CB11. Even though that's a quiz question. Anyway, all right. So yes, Naomi.
I'm sorry, before you go to the public officials, I just wanted to make a statement about, I put together a PowerPoint that I feel should be utilized by new members and current members. So, and I would like some feedback, please. So if you received it, just please provide me some feedback so I can make sure I'm not in, missing anything. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Well, I mean, you don't have to say anything more than that, right?
Yep, that's all I wanted
All
to
right.
say. I don't need,
So-
we can move on in new business.
Okay, so elected officials, who's still here? Borough President's office, are they here? Kira?
Hey
Kira,
everyone,
go
good
ahead.
evening. It's Kira. I will be really brief. This is Kira, the Director of Community Boards for the Borough President. Welcome back, members. Welcome, new members. It was great seeing you at the barbecue and at the new member swearing in and orientation at the beginning of this month. I have emailed you all. There is an open meetings law training on Friday at 10 o'clock, which will be held virtually on WebEx. I hope to see a lot of board members on there. It's really important just to learn more about minutes. I know Jeremy spoke about minutes and agendas earlier. It will just kind of give you guys a broad sense of what's required per the state law. I know you were just speaking about the city of Yes. There was an information meeting held tonight. It will be also recorded on YouTube. I put the link in the chat. Tour de Bronx is October 22nd. If you're interested in cycling either the 25 or 40 miles, you can register soon. And if you're not interested in that, we'd love to have people volunteer. A lot of it will take place in Community Board 11, so it'd be great to see you guys out there. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month and Fire Safety Month, so it was nice to hear that you guys are going to be putting together a fire safety awareness meeting. I'd love to talk to you guys more about that and see how we can help. Thank you very much.
Okay, any city council members here? Or any questions for the Borough President's office? No, if there's no representatives from city council. Alina from the mayor's office, did you want to speak? So just grab either mic on the end, please. So we do time them for 2 minutes.
It said 5 on the agenda, and it's all right. It's all right. Listen, it's not.
No, that's if you're Eric Adams. That's if you're Eric Adams, not the rep.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Alina Dow. I am the Bronx Borough Director. For all of the ones that I haven't met, very nice to meet you all. I'm excited to see how this moves forward with you. I do want to make a couple of things clear, and I think this is really important because I've sat here and I listened for almost all these hours. And one, I want to make sure that you guys know, and I've been saying this all around to all of the community boards. I cover 6 of them. And so I'm very well aware of how they operate. And I will say this, and I'm going to say it on public record, that you guys really have to get this together. I see a lot of, you guys don't, there's no connection here. And I cover community boards after community boards after community boards. So I just want to say that. And I know a lot of you, and I know that your hearts are really in good places, but when I listen to you guys, you sound like my 14-year-old kids that can't get along. So I just don't think that this is that type of setting that we should all have to really go through. It's a lot of back and forth. And I just say that from a place of endurement, not a place of any disrespect. So I just want to let you guys know. And then I just want to make sure, because what's happening in the community is really, this is serious and it's happening all over. I'm asking that with the mayor's office, even for myself, that you guys make a decision. Do we want the mayor to enforce the law, or do we want him to let people break the law? There's only two. There can't be in the middle, because we have people that could be possibly violating the law where they're illegal vending, and then we have people that are in the community supporting it. So we really do have to decide, because I get complaints, we want to call the sheriffs because they're selling illegal marijuana, but we want to let the person who's not a legal vendor sell fruit. There can't be a gray area. And you guys in this position really have to stand up and help the community understand that. So I think I had a 30-second warning after I've been sitting here for 3 hours, but it's all right. The mayor has, I do want you guys to know that the mayor is really wanting everyone to get in contact with him directly. He has launched a few different things where, as far as you could actually start to text the mayor.
Okay, thank you, Alina. So just remember, the elected officials get 5 minutes. The surrogates at the bottom here says get 2 minutes. I understand it's tough. Trust me, I'm going to be in my office till midnight, the way it's going. So comptroller's office, no. Public advocate's office, no. DA's office. If not, we will go to congressional representatives, AOC's office, or Congressman Torres's office. Joe, would you want to grab that mic there, please?
If I can get it out of here, that'll be good. Evening, everybody. I know there's a lot of new people here, so I just wanted to let you know my name is Joseph McManus. I represent Congressman Torres, and I was a member of Community Board 11 for 16 years. Our phone number, just take the phone number down, because after I talk to you, you'll understand. 718-503-9610. And if you want to know who your congressional representative is, www.house.gov. The reason I say that, because 718-503-9610. If there's a government shutdown, there'll be, I'll be furloughed because I'm a part-time employee, and a lot of people will be working without getting paid. So just to let you know, if there is a shutdown, you're going to have longer waits, to get on a plane. WIC is only going to last for like 3 days afterward, and the passports will probably be going reverse. So that is the final. That's it. Less than 2 minutes.
No state elected official reps, old business. I see Janice Walcott, microphone, please. No, okay, all right, good. Cynthia?
I am once again going to beat the bylaws horse to death, because for months I have discussed chair assignments and co-chair assignments. And if you look at our board, a board of 44 members, there are only a handful of people who are in positions of chair or co-chair, because there are some who have multiple chairpersonships. That was one of the amendments that I proposed that was not discussed today, as well as one on executives, people in the executive committee not holding a committee chairpersonship simultaneously. It is concerning to me that there isn't an opportunity for everyone to lead, and it is divisive. And it takes us away from the work that we're trying to do, because I firsthand have attempted to try and move things forward in some way, shape, or form, and am held back by interference. So, I think it's something that we really need to work on and improve and correct. Thank you.
Hi, Cynthia. I'm just going to respond to that. There are 6 proposals, and all of your proposals, the 3, are on the piece of paper that I just didn't go through. I just gave the 3 that we were going to have that were similar, but all 6 are going to be discussed.
Any other old business, new business? New business, new business, or old business? Okay, then microphone and then Al. Well,
I just want it to be brought to light again.
okay, mic for Debbie.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just wanted it to be brought to light again. And there's, some people with some misinformation. Yes, I'm bringing up that I want a blood center in the Bronx. People are like, oh, well, what about the place on Bronxdale and White Plains Road? That's a plasma center that's paid for. That's not a donor center. If you need, God forbid, you need blood in the hospital, they cannot get it from a paid plasma center. For your life to be saved, it has to be voluntarily donated, like with the American Red Cross or New York Blood Center. Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Staten Island, they all have blood centers. The Bronx, I think offhand, it's over 7 hospitals in the Bronx. There is not a blood center. There needs to be a blood center in the Bronx. So I just wanted to be brought back to light again that people like, oh, well, what about the plasma? No, we need a donor center in the Bronx.
Okay, so the meeting's officially ending at 10:18 p.m. We do not have a quorum. So the meeting's officially ended, but I know some of you want to say something, like Al, go ahead.
Just quickly, I just want to make sure everyone was invited to the Bronx Columbus Day Parade, October 8th. It would be nice if some members of the community board marched with us. We also, after the parade, we're having a carnival in the park for the children. There'll be some bouncy houses and some games and things like that. So if you want to bring your children, it would be a fun time after the parade. And that's it.
Ed Perez?
All right, I'm not going to drag this on, but I do want to touch base on the city of Yes. But before that, I don't know, man. Before I signed up for this, I didn't think that people were going to be 1 foot out the door from the minute that they got into a meeting. I really didn't think that. When I planned to come to this meeting, I planned to be here all night. So I ate before I came here. I pooped before I came here. Like, I did everything before I came here to make sure that I was fighting the good fight and doing the good work here. I'm not reaming anybody for it, but I think that some of the board members, we should kind of think about that stuff. Just plan accordingly. You already know you're coming over here. And then now the city of Yes. Integrating these proposals, they can form a pivotal part of the Bronx. So I just want to kind of touch base on some of the initiatives that are in there in case nobody's read about it. Expanding business locality options, supporting growing industries, fostering vibrant neighborhoods, providing clarity and predictability. And again, to sum it all up, the City of Yes initiative through these proposals showcases a commitment to fostering a vibrant, business-friendly, and dynamic, not just New York City, but the Bronx, because we're talking about the Bronx here. The initiative aims to remove bureaucratic barriers, foster innovation, and create a city or borough that is adaptable to the changing needs and aspirations of residents. If we start tabling the City of Yes conversation, or if we don't show the importance that other people have shown for other initiatives, how is the Bronx gonna move forward? We're always gonna be left behind. We're always gonna be that borough that gets dumped on. But I think that this board and what's been happening here is a reflection of why the Bronx gets dumped on.
Okay, is that good?
That's it.
Thank you. Miguel, you have your hand up?
Yes. First of all, I wanted to just say with regards to the bylaws thing, to give more context with what Cindy said. I know that the chairwoman did say that the proposals are on her list, but they've been on her list since February, I think, or April, and it's been known to the full board almost. I know certainly many board members that Mr. Levitt was no longer interested in chairing the bylaws committee, and that's just been left in limbo for at least 2 months. So I don't want to, I don't want to put everything in one person's basket, but it really is one person that just let that languish. So although it's now coming to pass, when especially an urgent bylaws change, something like, the proposals that Cindy has brought up, like that needs to move. And it's not moving because of leadership. It has nothing to do with us. We've already voted on all of this stuff. We just need a meeting. Secondly, I have a quick question. In the chairwoman's report, she said something about a new checklist for the committee.
Yeah, so I brought that up during my report. So,
Okay.
So I created a Google Forms questionnaire basically to help people do meeting minutes, because we had a committee meeting last week in which the person wrote way more than they should have. And so Joanne Burnett, they looked at this, and it's a good model it's a start. Okay. It's not perfect. I agree with the mayor's office that we got to get together because we're all reaching our breaking point, right? Harriet's been working for us for 40 years, and she's just now reaching her breaking point. And and it's because we're all there at this point. But to put things into context, Ed, because Harriet can tell you when she first started working for the board, they would go up to 1 a.m. This is nothing. If you think it's bad. Again, like it can get worse. So, I mean, aside from punching other members out, but yeah. So Miguel, does that answer your question about the checklist?
Oh yeah, I was just confused. I thought it was a
yeah. I brought it in my report. I'll send it out to everybody. Cindy gave me suggestions for maybe to improve it. But yeah, I'll send it out.
I was confused. I wasn't sure if that would have required a bylaws change.
Yeah, that's what she was talking about.
Okay.
Veronica?
Just very quickly, just to follow up on what Ed said, when I first joined the board, people leaving before the meeting has even ended has been a big problem for me. My suggestion going forward, since we can't make a motion, is that if a person has to leave a meeting before the meeting has officially ended, they need to advise the chair and the DM of why they have to leave, or if they may have to leave early, because if a motion came up right now, we're dead in the water. We can't do anything. If you are volunteered for this community board, and I've said it since I've joined the community board, you need to stay. You need to follow through with it, or else if you don't have the time to follow through on it, you may want to rethink being on the board.
They should tell the board. They don't. Why should they tell me? I'm a staffer, right? They should tell the board right before they leave. I mean, yeah, they text me or whatever, but they should just tell everybody, look, I got to go work. That's what somebody had to leave for.
Right.
So they should tell everybody. Or if it's a committee meeting they have to leave for, they tell the committee. Right?
I make a motion with you, John.
No, the meeting's over. I don't know why you're still here. Yes, because you had no quorum since then. So.
You are, no matter what, you are volunteers. You're doing this from your heart. You will burn out if you do this. I have been in other meetings and they're doing the exact same thing. This is not something new, but what's happening here is that you guys actually took 45 minutes going back and forth just to decide if you were going to have an in-person meeting or an online meeting. And I think,
training.
And like I said, we're all offline. So I'm talking to you, and I live in the Bronx, and I go to community board meetings way before. So I think that what's happening here is really just a part where you guys have to figure out how to come together. And if it takes putting it in a writing, because just even the online, this back and forth, but now you guys have an extra piece, but you have to also take into consideration someone who's had their hand up and never got to speak. So I think what happens is that you guys are definitely going to have your stuff written down. Because if not, you are going to end up not having no board, and the community board 11 is really going to be up, the street. I'm just saying that from my part. You guys are good people, but I know, and I was here when remember the police had to come in and grab somebody because they were so angry.
Yep.
And it could get really heated. So I think that you guys, and I'll say this, and I'm saying it genuinely. You guys really have some amazing points. And you have the opportunity to take a community that has a lot of division and bring them together. But what y'all showing here is all the
So, Oral, you want to say something?
No, really quick, I just wanted to address the issue of the City of Yes, the person who brought this up. I think it's very unfair for him to say that because the initiative just started in March, right? The kickoff started in June. The first info session just started in September. So it's a fairly new approach. I'm part of it. I know I work for the city of New York, so I'm kind of very familiar with it. So we were going to have a discussion with it. I was going to talk to Kenny about it and just give me an opportunity to get that done. Because there's quite a few initiatives that are built into this program, right? I don't know if are you familiar with all three of them?
Yeah, so we'll put you two in touch.
Okay, great, thanks.